including blocking President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship, reaffirming all people born in the U.S. are citizens under the 14th Amendment. The High Court also signaled it will take up a new case when it returns from break, reviewing whether state bans on AR-15 semi-assault rifles is constitutional. ABC's Devin Dwyer has more.
These are weapons that are prohibited in 10 states, plus the District of Columbia. They've been used in some of the deadliest mass shootings in the United States, including Sandy Hook and Uvalde. So many children there killed with these weapons. States responding to that, trying to limit the sale and possession. But now the justices have indicated they're ready to decide whether, in fact, that's unconstitutional.
In Venezuela, officials say the death toll climbing again from the double earthquakes last week. Confirmed deaths now just below 2,000. There are more than 10,000 others injured across the region. This is ABC News. House lawmakers weighing a package that would strengthen online protections for children. The bill, more narrow than Kids Online Safety Act, passed in the Senate.
House lawmakers have passed the Kids Internet and Digital Safety Act. It's a bipartisan package of legislation that, among other things, would require social media companies to adopt new safety measures for children and restrict the use of minors' data for targeted advertising. Advocates say the bill is a step towards a safer internet for young people, but critics fear it may prompt tech platforms to adopt age verification measures for everyone, which is a concern if that additional data people are handing over gets breached. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
You've heard of inflation for all those necessary goods and foods Americans are grappling with, but the cost of discretionary spending also going up, especially for live events like concerts and games, dubbed funflation. They've increased by about 27% in the past 5 years, but experts say if you're flexible, you could bring costs down. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Another wildfire in our state has prompted a go now evacuation. More on that coming up. But first, let's check out your KIRO News Radio traffic, brought to you by your KIRO News Radio app. We're looking really good across the region, actually. Our biggest backup right now is out toward Bonnie Lake, where road work has drivers sitting in about a mile and a half bumper-to-bumper backup eastbound 410 heading up that hill between 166th and Myers Road. Here in Seattle, South 5, we're slowing just a bit from Northgate through the U District. Plan on a 20-minute trip from Linwood into downtown. And North 5, you're going to crowd up just a little from approaching the West Seattle Bridge up to I-90. Text APP to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Reaction is pouring in after today's U.S. Supreme Court ruling to uphold state laws that ban transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports. Civil rights and LGBTQ plus advocacy groups argue restrictions unfairly target transgender athletes. Let's Go Washington founder Brian Haywood tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 the 6-3 decision is a major victory.
This isn't an anti-trans issue. This isn't a political issue. This is at the very fundamental level, they're playing a game that's saying, hey, girls' health is not that important. What's more important is that we allow boys to play in girls' sports.
Washington voters will decide the fate of Initiative 638 when it appears on the statewide ballot this November. Authorities have issued a go-now evacuation order as a wildfire surges in Walla Walla County.
The Lambton fire started late Monday morning along Highway 12 near Wallula Junction and spread quickly, topping 1,000 acres within hours and putting structures at risk, including Cameo Heights Mansion, a luxury bed and breakfast. By nightfall, air crews confirmed the fire had grown to more than 13,000 acres. According to KEPR-TV, several crashes were reported along Highway 12. Investigators aren't sure if they're tied to the start of the fire, but smoke from that blaze is believed to have caused additional wrecks. No serious injuries were reported, though. The highway was closed for a time, but reopened late Monday. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Washington's economy is growing faster than anywhere else in the country. That's according to new numbers from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. In the first 3 months of this year, our state's economy grew at a yearly rate of 4.5%. According to the Puget Sound Business Journal, that's more than double the national average. A big reason? Our huge tech sector. It's a sharp turnaround, too. Just last fall, Washington ranked 45th among states for growth. Well, a viral video showing a baseball bat attack at Seattle's Cal Anderson Park has led to an arrest over the weekend. KIRO 7 TV's Eric Thomas spoke to Tim, who took the video and lives nearby.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising when it did happen, but it was almost surprising that they didn't get attacked earlier from all the stuff they were doing. They specifically wanted that. They came here to cause that to happen.
According to police, that includes throwing water bottles, beer, and eggs. Now, that officer who saw the attack happen also caught that suspect a couple of blocks away. That suspect was arrested and booked into the King County Jail for assault.
Now let's check out your KIRO News Radio weather forecast. Those early morning sprinkles were a little surprise. They'll be back Thursday evening. Until then, mostly cloudy with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Friday, the sun takes over with a high near 73. 57 and cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Jake Skorheim sitting here alongside myself. Laura's in today producing. Spike is out for the week, as he was yesterday, as he will be tomorrow. Great week ahead. We got a lot of good interviews. Great show ahead today. We got a lot of interviews, a lot of stuff. Mike Lefko from 710 Seattle Sports is going to join us next at 12:30. I didn't realize this, but the deadline has come and gone for potential new owners for the Seattle Seahawks. I guess those bids were in and needed to be finalized by Monday and just yesterday. So that has now come and gone. Mike's going to give us all the details, any insights into who the front runners might be, who the next owner of the Seahawks might be, and that should be very interesting because I thought that was just kind of out there sometime in the future, but no, that's already come and gone. We're also going to talk to, later in the show, this is going to be really interesting, Andrea Suarez from We Heart Seattle. She posted this video, which I found really heartbreaking. She talked to an 18-year-old girl in, I believe this was in Belltown, and the girl is basically talking to Andrea Suarez, basically saying, all this fentanyl use has to stop. They got to start criminalizing this. They got to start, not even criminalizing, they just got to arrest people for breaking laws that are already on the books. And it got me thinking, I hadn't really thought about this in this way until I was watching this video, and Andrea's going to be on with us at 2 o'clock. But I used to go out in Belltown when I was young, just like this young lady was doing. I used to go out there, and there was a cool, I think Belltown Billiards was a thing. I don't know if that's still there. But I would go out and with friends, and we would hang out, and that was like kind of a fun place to go and enjoy your evenings and, bar hop and all that kind of stuff. We weren't even considering at the time. I had never even heard the word fentanyl. And now it's just ubiquitous down there. It's everywhere. So Andrew's going to join us at 2 o'clock. We can talk a little bit more about that. All right. I want to kick off the start of this segment. This is America 250. We're celebrating Independence Day, which is coming up on Saturday. I'd be very interested to find out how you guys are going to be celebrating. Are you going to be shooting off fireworks? If you are, please let me know where you're getting them and what you're buying. 888-973-5476. This would be really fun. Actually, if anybody out there runs a fireworks stand and wants to talk to us, 888-973-5476. Text us. I do think it'd be interesting to talk to somebody in that industry. I'm just fascinated in how you ramp that up, where you're ordering those from, what do you do with fireworks when they when you're no longer legally allowed to sell them. I'd also want to talk to somebody up in from one of the tribes. Like, we go to Boom City sometimes. My kids are asking me to go to Boom City. My wife, who has never been because she grew up on Mercer Island, and that just was not a thing that they did, I guess. But my neck of the woods, we went to Boom City, and we got the biggest fireworks we could possibly find. So let me know where you're going. Hit me up and how you're celebrating this fantastic birthday for America. 888-973-5476. In honor of Independence Day, I thought this would be fun. Starting tomorrow, July 1st, are some new taxes that everybody can be excited about paying. And there's nothing more patriotic than your taxes. I say that kind of in jest because taxes are the bane of a lot of people's existence, and they just take a lot of your money. But here's a few things that and obviously they're good for some things, roads, public safety, all those things. But a lot of times they're just like flush down the toilet. So some more money of yours is going to be flushed down the toilet. A couple things that will kick in starting tomorrow, July 1st. These are from the most recent 2026 legislative session. These go into effect tomorrow. One of the things, this is actually a positive, rare, silver lining to the dark gray cloud, is they're rolling back some of that estate tax. You guys remember when they, was it just 2 years ago? They raised the estate tax in Washington State to like 30-something% over a certain threshold. Like if your taxable estate was over a certain amount, it jumped up to 30-something%, which is insane. And what they found was, ironically, to no one who understands how this works, people started moving out of state. They said, I don't want to die in Washington. It's too expensive to die in Washington. I want to leave the hard-earned money to who I want to leave it to. Maybe it's to a charity. Maybe it's to your kids. Maybe it's to whoever. But I don't want to die in Washington. Very expensive to die in Washington. So they recognize that, and they're rolling back some of those taxes, and those are now going to be in the 10% to 20% range, depending on the estate size. Still a lot of money. And a tough concept. I'll tell you a personal story in just a second. I actually ended up talking about taxes this morning with my 11-year-old son, who just got his first summer job. And he's not being taxed on it in a traditional sense, but he will pay taxes on it when he spends the money. But I'll tell you about his reaction in just a second here. But the other tax that you can look forward to, this kicks in tomorrow, is an increase in the state's gas tax. Chris Sullivan over at My Northwest wrote a little about this. I'm going to read to you from his My Northwest piece. A 2% gas tax increase tied to inflation takes effect July 1st. This will add another 1.1 cents to our 0.55 cents per gallon state gas tax that we currently have. So that's going to be 56 cents a gallon. 56 cents a gallon. So you're going to be paying just in gas taxes every time you buy a gallon of gas. And this is not the CCA. The CCA is a whole different thing. The CCA is like I think the CCA is about 55 cents a gallon, maybe 55 cents a gallon. So you have those two that are now over $1. And then you have federal gas taxes, which are like 18 cents or something. So now you're talking about $1.20, basically. $1.20 every time you buy gas. It's insane. And gas in Washington is so expensive for this reason. So like the national average, AAA national average, $3.86. In Washington, it's $5.19. And it depends on where you buy it. I just bought mine a couple days ago from Costco. I think I paid $4.99, so below $5 a gallon, and I felt like that was a huge, massive win. But nationally, gas is a lot cheaper. So, quick story about my son. As I mentioned just a second ago, he's working this summer job. I'm so proud of him, obviously, because I want him to have that strong work ethic. I want him to want to go out there and just like crush and have a ton of fun working and make a ton of money. And, it adds so much confidence, especially for a young guy who's trying to figure out life. And he likes buying things, and we don't want to keep giving him money all the time. So it's fun that he's now kind of making some money on his own. We want him to have that feeling he can go out there and conquer the world. And so my parents, who have some property, if anybody owns acreage, they understand that like this stuff gets overgrown and, obviously needs a lot of tending to. And my parents are getting old. And so my dad was like, he asked us, he goes, hey, do you mind if we hire your kids to come and work for us? Not all of them, just my oldest. He's 11. And we're like, yes, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Gets him out of the house. It's summertime, gets him sweating and feeling positive about himself. So he's working 2 days a week right now, 4 hours a day, 2 days a week. So only 8 hours a week. But he's making like $10 an hour, which he cannot believe. He feels like this is the most money that anybody could possibly make. And at 11, that's good money. I was surprised they were paying him that amount, but it's grandma and grandpa rates, so that's pretty good. So anyway, he's getting $10 an hour. So he comes home yesterday after his first day of working alongside grandpa, basically just with a weed eater all day, cutting down brush. And He has already added up all the money he's going to make this summer. He's positive he's going to make at least $1,000, and he's already pretty much spent the entire amount, which is in keeping with being an 11-year-old. And so he asked me this morning, he goes, "Hey, Dad, I want to show you a picture of something that I'm going to buy." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm thinking like, is he going to buy a new baseball mitt? I mean, I don't know. He's going to buy some small thing. So he shows me a picture of a Lego set, a Millennium Falcon Lego set, which I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Very neat." I'm thinking maybe like $80 or something like that, just based on recent purchases for birthdays and things. I'm thinking, less than $100. This thing is $620. And it's a lot of money. Lego sets are really expensive, by the way. Side note, if you guys have not been spending a lot of money on Lego, they're a ton of money, which is why they keep them locked under, like plexiglass and GPS trackers every time you go into Target or Fred Meyer or wherever you buy your Lego, which is depressing to have to like hit a button and wait for a person to come and, service you for your Legos, just like you're buying booze or something. But I digress. So he's excited by this Lego set, and he's like, "Yeah, it's going to be $620 and I can get there in yada, yada, this many days." I'm like, "Well, don't forget taxes," which is a concept I think he was aware of, but maybe not fully grasping how much money he's going to have to pay out on this thing. So it depends on where you live, but in Washington State, like in general, it's about 10%. It's a little bit higher maybe in like King County or Seattle because they have extra things. We live in Snohomish County, so I think we're at 9.3%, somewhere around there. But I say, figure 10%. So he's crunching the numbers in his head on this $620 Millennium Falcon that he wants to buy, that I'm hoping he sees the light and doesn't invest $620 in a Millennium Falcon. His mom and I might force him not to buy that, but who knows? We'll see what happens. So he's doing the numbers, and he goes, "Wait a minute." He's adding it up, and he goes, "That's like $62 extra that I have to pay on top of the cost of the Lego set." And I say, "Yeah, that's about right. Like, that sounds right. The math checks out." And he goes, "Well, that's not fair." And I said, yes. And I was proud of him. I was like, "This is the feeling I want you to have about taxes for the rest of your life. I want you to feel like it's not fair. They are necessary. I'm not arguing they're not necessary, but even a child can recognize that sometimes it just feels ridiculous because it ends up going to things that are not sometimes useful at all. If it were just roads and if it were just safety and if it were just other things, we would not be in the state in Washington that we are in, which is constantly in the hole. Like you just heard the top of the hour news break there, they're projecting record economic growth in Washington State. And you watch as they have more revenue coming in than they've ever had. I think they said they were growing at like 4% or something like that, which compared to the national average is high. They will bring in record revenue, and yet it still will not be enough. There will still be a hole. There will still be underfunded, they will say, because they're spending money on ridiculous things. And now my kid is going to be contributing to that when he buys this silly Lego purchase, which again, I'm fine with some taxes. It makes sense. But you start adding in, and I started telling him about the estate tax, which again, we just talked about a second ago. They've finally ratcheted down because they realized how damaging that was. And I was like, "You don't like this tax on Legos? Wait until Grandpa dies," which was dark, and I should not have done. But I tried to explain to him. He's like, "Wait a minute, like they're going to tax you on money that's already been taxed?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "But people worked really hard their entire lives to earn that money. And then they saved it. They were diligent and they saved it and they put it into account. And now when somebody dies, the state wants to step in and pretend like they're an heir to the family fortune." And I said, "Yep, that's right. Not that we have a fortune in the family, but you get my meaning." So that was probably more depressing than I needed to make him about his Lego purchase. My wife kind of gave me the evil eye while I was describing it. But he's got to know. He's 11 years old. He's got to figure these things out. Because someday he's going to be 12 or 13, and he's going to wake up one day, and he's going to be working a real job and wondering where all his money goes. And it goes to silly things. Speaking of silly places to send money, KIRO TV talked to Gurme Zahale. He's the King County executive, who for a half second I liked because he took a picture with, what's his face? The Let's Go Washington guy. Laura, what's the guy's name?
Brian Haywood.
Brian Haywood. He took a picture at the U.S.-Australia game, World Cup, with Brian Haywood. It seemed really nice. Two people, opposite ends of the political spectrum. They take a nice picture, and then it gets posted. And then online trolls step in, and Gourmet Zahale runs away from it and apologizes profusely for even taking a picture with somebody he doesn't agree with politically, which is ridiculous. But he sat down with KIRO TV, and they were asking him, they said, hey, what are we going to do about this King County Regional Homeless Authority? There's this new report out detailing the $1 billion that they have spent on homelessness that has gone through the KCRHA, the King County Regional Homeless Authority. $1 billion has now been spent by them in the last 5 years, and homelessness has increased. It's gone up, which is not great. So there's more people homeless than when they started. So the question is, what are we spending this money on? And on top of that, they have unaccounted for money. They have $8 million in unaccounted for money. They have some sort of a gift card and purchasing card program that didn't have basic controls on it, so they didn't even know where that money went. Then they have $4.26 million that was just overspent. They just spent more on things than they should have, which happens. And, compared to $1 billion, is 13 million really that big? Maybe it's not a massive percentage, but when you add that to the fact that after spending all that money and getting all that money, they're $44 million in the hole. That's just not sustainable. And so King County Executive Zahale and Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, their job is actually to make a recommendation to the King County Council and the Seattle City Council about whether or not that they should continue this King County Regional Homeless Authority, who has come to both of these places and have given their recommendations for how they could fix that problem of unaccounted for money and overspending. And so he was talking about it, and this is what KIRO TV asked him about it. They sat down, and they have 1 month left to make this decision. What will happen? We will find out.
How have we spent $1 billion, yet more people are ending up on the streets?
It's unacceptable. It is absolutely true that we are missing thousands of units of housing and shelter, that we need to address this issue, and we need to be much more accountable with the resources that we have.
What does accountability mean to you?
First and foremost, being able to track where all the money has been spent.
All right, that's a good one. Yeah, pretty basic. I like that. Track where the money's spent. He was asked, why are they hesitating to shut it down? This was his answer.
When we think about how quickly these problems need to be solved, we wanted to see more specificity of the when and the how.
What more do you need to see from RHA in order to recommend that this organization stays?
KRHA is the designated entity for receiving what is called Continuum of Care funding. These are tens of millions of dollars that are coming in from the federal government. And so if we rush to make rush decisions about the fate of this entity, we could risk those dollars.
Sounds like you don't want to lose the federal contracts and some of the systems that coordinate the money. I mean, is there anything about the work specifically that they do that the county or city can't replicate itself?
I don't want us to go back to a fragmented system. And so clearly things do need to change right now, but maintaining that regional collaboration is going to be pivotal.
I don't really buy his answer there. I think it's a really good question that KIRO TV asks, well, why couldn't you just, is there no individual organizations that could do this? Does it all have to be under the umbrella of this bigger organization, which has shown that it doesn't have the ability to do the job effectively and has mismanaged the money? Why can't some of those federal dollars still go to individual organizations? I think they can. And also, when you think about, he's talking about tens of millions of dollars. He says there's tens of millions of dollars of federal money that we could possibly miss out on, which again, I don't think that they would, but they possibly could. That's less than the amount that they're in the hole and they are just missing from mismanagement or fraud, depending on what this, inspection, this audit that they're doing right now turns up. So if you're just throwing good money after bad, that doesn't seem like a good plan. But we'll see how it plays out. They have 1 month left. You guys can let us know whether or not you think it's a good investment to keep giving them money. Hit us up at the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. All right, I want to talk a little sports. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Seahawks. Yesterday came and went. I didn't realize there was a deadline for potential owners, new owners of the Seahawks. They had to have them in by yesterday. We're going to tell you all about that and so much more coming up next with Mike Lefko from 710 Seattle Sports. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Sunset Auto Family.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
A political shakeup for Democrats that represent Seattle.
Traffic.
Right now, Auburn to Renton at 25 minutes. That's a good 10-minute delay.
Conversation.
3 people on the floor can't cover 20 aisles of plexiglass. They're doing their best. It just doesn't work.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
And the party begins.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
You reach a time in your life where you're going to need help. My husband was a big help to me, but then after he died, I didn't have that help. But living here, Aegis is just wonderful. If anything happened to me, they would be right there taking care of me. I feel very safe, very secure, and I'm very happy here.
Voted Best of Western Washington for assisted living and memory care, Aegis Living is the trusted expert in senior living. Visit aegisliving.com/KIRO and see for yourself.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. And if there's 2 things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you have nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep.
Oh, come on!
Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The sounds of summer. They're great until they're not. Luckily, AutoZone has free battery testing and charging.
Let me check that for you.
To help make a rough moment smooth. Don't miss the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone. Free products with select deals until July 27th. And free services every day. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Spring is a season homeowners start improving their homes. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. If your home needs roofing, siding, new windows, gutters, or decking, our team can take care of it all. For a limited time, save up to $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows project. Planning multiple upgrades? Combine your projects and save even more. Or with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. You can start your project now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Les Schwab Tires has been proudly serving communities for over 70 years, and we've collected thousands of inspiring stories. Like Kate, who was off on a long road trip with her best friend when the dash lit up like a game show. They find the nearest Les Schwab. Turns out they really needed an oil change. It was done in a flash. Road trip saved. At Les Schwab, we're proud to keep you rolling. Les Schwab Tires. Our greatest story is yours. Stories are composites inspired by real customer feedback.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than a tear out. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some carry groceries, prepare meals, or simply hold a hand. Caregivers are the everyday heroes who keep our communities strong. Right now, Washington needs more of these heroes. People like you, ready to make a difference in someone's life. Caregiver Careers Washington offers online resources and guidance to help you get trained and start your caregiving career. Become a hero not just to the person you care for, but to their family and their community. Visit caregivercareerswa.com today.
Sponsored by DSHS and aired by the WSAB and this station.
The Mariners Kids Club, presented by BECU, is 100% free and a great way to get your kids excited for a lifetime of Mariners baseball. Sign up online at mariners.com/kids club, and your kids will receive exclusive giveaways, access to member events, and more.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is applauding today's U.S. Supreme Court decision to uphold birthright citizenship. Brown says the ruling upholds the Constitution and protects children born in the U.S. from losing automatic citizenship. It echoes comments he made on the issue last May.
Time and time again, the Supreme Court has weighed in on this and affirmed that if you were born in the United States, that you are a citizen.
The decision rejects President Donald Trump's executive order seeking to limit birthright citizenship for some children born to non-citizen parents. Brown's office was among the first to challenge the order in court, arguing it violated the 14th Amendment. The full Seattle City Council votes today on an emergency plan to block traffic on residential streets near Aurora Avenue North. It's part of an effort to curb shootings and sex trafficking along the corridor. Council President Joy Hollingsworth tells KIRO Radio's Jean Ursula the focus needs a shift to the victims.
What we have not focused on are the women that are being trafficked and then the girls who are being raped on Aurora that are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Barriers have already been set up at 4 side streets near Aurora. Mayor Katie Wilson ordered the closures after weeks of pressure from neighbors. No charges will be filed in connection with the death of a Washington State Trooper, Tara Marissa Guting, who was struck by 2 vehicles while investigating a crash on the State Route 509 on-ramp at the Port of Tacoma Road last December. The first driver to hit her was driving a Mazda CX-50.
According to a prosecutor's memo, that driver immediately stopped. They told investigators they didn't see Trooper Guting. The investigation found they were going between 33 and 47 miles an hour, well below the posted speed limit of 60. A second vehicle, a Cadillac SUV, then hit Guting again. The 86-year-old driver reportedly told investigators he thought he'd hit a bag of garbage or a pothole. Prosecutors say there was no evidence to show he knew he'd been involved in a crash that had hurt or killed someone or caused major property damage. In Tacoma, Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle's just one day away from hosting another FIFA World Cup match. Belgium will take on Senegal in the city's first knockout round. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports record ridership has brought 5 million people onto the light rail this month.
Officials say in June there were 5 days where ridership exceeded 200,000 daily passengers, including the USA versus Australia match when 280,000 people took the light rail in one day. Now, if you're coming to tomorrow's 1 p.m. match, make sure you're prepared. You should leave your house early and leave downtown late to avoid the peak crowds. Spread out on the light rail boarding platforms. The cars near the back of the train are usually less crowded. And get off on different transit stations downtown to ease congestion a bit. You can use CID, Stadium, and Pioneer Square stations.
And now check out Wall Street, where stocks are on the rebound. The Dow up 150, S&P 500 up 62, and the NASDAQ up 400. Now your KIRO News Radio traffic brought to you by the KIRO News Radio app. In North Linwood, we've got a collision on northbound 99 approaching Airport Road. Is blocking all northbound lanes. This is right in front of Polsbo RV for those of you familiar with the area. Over to Canyon Park, southbound 405 jams up near State Route 522 from an earlier stall. Here in Seattle, South 5 slows from Northgate through the U District, and North 5 is crowded approaching the West Seattle Bridge to I-90. Everywhere else is looking just great. Text the app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. 66 under mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, 53 overnight, and then a similar forecast Wednesday and Thursday with showers developing Thursday. Sun and 73 Friday, 60 and cloudy right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. Very happy to have Mike Lefko from 710 Seattle Sports joining us right now. Mike, welcome to the show.
Jake, always fun to be here, man.
Yeah.
Glad to do it again.
Spike's out this week, so this is just like the old days when you and I used to do a bunch of stuff for the night show.
Yeah, I was trying to remember that jingle we had. That was a lot of fun. Does feel like the old days.
Score time with Skorheim.
Yeah, but then I was trying to remember how the music went too. It was like, poop. Nah, I can't even do it justice.
I was gonna try to find it like on the run here, but I can't find it.
Nah, it's all right. It's we leave it in the past. We just fondly look back and reminisce.
You know what? I think I can find it.
You can find it. Okay. Well, I can ramble on until then. Yeah, I mean, good to be back. It's summer. There's some football things going on. There's baseball. I can keep talking if you want while you find that music. But yes, we're bringing it back.
We've got it. All right, here we go. Score time with Skorheim. This is by popular demand. Everybody's asking for it. Everybody loves it. Let's see if it'll play.
Score time with Skorheim.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Makes me think of Rudy or like any college sports. All right, the reason you're here, Mike, is obviously sports. We're talking sports.
For that, yeah, we just heard why. Yeah,
we're here. All right, thanks for coming in, man. Seahawks. There is a big question on the table. Who's going to own that team? I saw a story today that there's a due date for bids. It's like almost like when somebody's bidding on a house. It's like there's a review offer date. Is that kind of what's happening with the Seahawks? They have a date. Everybody has to get their numbers in.
Yeah, I guess so, actually. So that just happened. That due date was Monday.
Oh, really?
So it is done. It has happened, and it's all been a very secretive process.
That is very secretive.
Yeah, the NFL wants to keep it close to the vest, obviously. They don't, want too much insight on who the interested parties are. Now, there have been 3 reported parties of interest that made bids. There is no set. So this is according to Bloomberg News, came out this report. Then Bob Condotta, the Seattle Times, had some more insight. Those 3 kind of known entities that had been out there for a while. It's a group that includes some minority owners from the Celtics, a guy that's a minority owner in the 49ers, and then a group that's kind of led by the owner of Chelsea, the football club there, and he's got some stakes in the Lakers and the Dodgers. So those 3 separate bids, those have been kind of confirmed through sources and through reporting. There could be others, though, but the deadline has passed, so no one else can now, if they're interested, bid on the Seahawks.
So the minority Celtics owners, are they also the ones who are the Kraken?
No, this is a different group. That was the Bondermans were tied in with this group.
That was with the
But that's
Sonics.
for the Sonics. Yeah, see, it's confusing because there are 2 teams theoretically up for sale here in Seattle.
All right.
Now, this is a Wick
We're
Grossbeck.
talking football right now.
We are talking football. And that, is going to happen much faster than any Sonics thing that's been kind of dragged out. And still, to kind of go on a tangent here, not confirmed yet that will happen. It's just the NBA is exploring kind of similar ownership possibilities in Seattle and Vegas.
Do you think, let's get back to football in just a second, but back to the thing since I incorrectly took us down that road. Adam Silver, the latest I heard from him was, I think he was on the Dan Patrick show or something, maybe like a week ago today, actually, I believe. And he was talking about if the Sonics do come back, if NBA expansion happens, and it would be in either Vegas or Seattle. This is the first time I ever heard him say this, or could be neither of those cities, or it could just be one of those cities. It's felt to me like he was also leaving the door open that it's possible that it could be another city if they really wanted it to be, because they're not limited.
No, so I think that is, there have been so many tiny little breadcrumbs, and it's been an agonizingly slow process. But the thing that did happen, they got everyone excited, and it was a few months ago. I can't even remember the exact date. The months have just kind of flown by. It was definitely a few months ago at their Board of Governors meeting where he came out and did definitively say,
just 2 cities.
If we expand, it's to either one of those 2 cities, but then he did the frustrating thing. Could be one, could be both, could be neither. But at this point, there will be no other cities that are considered right now for NBA expansion.
But he did indicate that it could be just one city, right?
Yes.
So
which would make no sense.
That doesn't
I don't
make
think
any
that
sense.
would happen.
Like, how could that work? There's
I think
32
that's
teams
him
right now.
Refusing to kind of pigeonhole himself into this set. Oh, there's 2, and we know the only 2 cities, so that means for sure it's expanded to these 2. And him wanting to not lawyer background. He's got it. So he doesn't want to definitively have something on paper and then they can point to that. These lawyers, they're very smart in what they do there.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think, though, to finish up on the NBA thing real fast, that to me felt like, was that the first time that we found out that it would be the 28, is it the 28-29 season?
That's what came out of that appearance about a week ago. Yes.
So that's kind of new information.
That is new information. And this is why it's been so frustrating on so many levels, is that you do kind of get maybe here and there a new piece of information, But then it's dressed up around the same vagaries of maybe here, maybe there. Oh, 2028, 2029.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to piece through it.
Because I originally, when we were talking about this, I thought the timeline was like, all right, 27, 28. And now it's 28, 29. I feel like, are they pushing that back a little bit?
That feels like it makes sense. You have to go through the process. You have to award the cities. Then you have to make sure everything is vetted and started on time. You have to time it in the cycle of a season as well. Of
course.
So another season will be about to start. You get through that season, you have to then build up an expansion draft, which affects every single team. So 2 years, that's about kind of the runway. I think the Kraken had that when they got announced. It wouldn't be any sooner. That would just be a lot of pieces to get in place, to fit in an expansion draft within the confines of a normal draft, and all these parameters of free agency and all that.
Now, the board is meeting when? Again, it's supposed to be.
Good question.
It's supposed to be relatively
somewhere soon in the fall. Yeah, somewhere within the next couple months.
Okay. And then there'll be some definitive answer, possibly.
Yeah, theoretically.
Or not.
Well, this is when people think that vote might happen, finally. They don't know, but they think that's when the vote will happen on whether or not the NBA has deemed that there are suitable expansion ownership candidates in these two cities, and then they could move forward.
Okay. All right, back to the NFL. Who do you think, is there a general consensus about who would be the best owner for the Seahawks?
Well, I mean, that's a matter of opinion, I think. The problem is the NFL is going to decide who the best owner is for the Seahawks, and that could come down to who offers the most money. And I think that's where you get why that bid process deadline was important, because the NFL has deemed, all right, these bids are in, we're only considering these candidacies. So then they have to vet them all. And it's going to be up to the league. And it's not, hey, who's going to be the best steward for the city? That's tough to tell. It's going to be, look, hey, even though Jerry Jones is not necessarily the best hands-off owner, Jerry Jones got a ton of money. And so if he's going to pay way more than anyone else and they've deemed him qualified, he's going to get that franchise. Now, it's not Jerry Jones. Like, I'm just using him as an example that out of these ownership groups, if they think that one person is better suited to fully back this bid of $9 to $10 billion, they're going to go with that person.
Is it going to be the highest bid?
Yes.
For sure.
Are
they
required? I don't know.
To take a highest bid offer?
There was something in the trust that they're required to, and of course it's like lawyerly specific terms, like fulfill their duty and,
their obligation to get the most out.
Yes.
To get the most from the value of the team.
Obligation to, fulfill the most. And this is where I'm getting bogged down in the kind of the specific contractual language of it. But it was a stipulation of the trust, and then the NFL certainly having some push and some say in that will make the decision.
It's just interesting because you're going from a situation that was really ideal and just perfect for the fans. You have this local guy who makes good and makes all this money, who then, like with basically an open checkbook, just says, I want to make this the best team ever. Mm-hmm. And now it is. And they're winning Super Bowls and they have all these great prospects for the future and they've locked down all these great players. And now you're seeing these other investment groups who are coming in. You're seeing people like the guy who owns Chelsea football club. They all feel like outsiders, but there's just not a whole lot of local guys who can afford a team like that.
Yeah,
and so we're not going to be spoiled like we were with
business.
Paul Allen.
That's the problem. That's modern sports are not just big business, they're mammoth corporations. Because who can afford, that's why you need multiple investors and groups like that, because who can cobble together $9 billion just in their couch
Almost
cushions?
Nobody.
No, I don't think literally any individual. So you see all these people that, maybe you have a minority group, but you have a majority person in front, and the NFL requires like a 30% ownership stake at least. You can't split it up among a ton of entities. So you're not going to have, no city is going to have a local tie-in, but you can still hope that a lot of these guys could be hands-off. I think that would be the best hope, is that the Seahawks, everything is stable. You don't need anyone to come in and fix or build or change things.
Yeah, but the problem,
just be hands off.
The problem, though, and maybe that would, maybe that wouldn't be realized because it's an investment group and they want to make money. So the best thing to do is just to let them keep winning. But you do have these guys who make a ton of money who come in with egos, who want to put their stamp on things and make changes. And that's the worry, is that you have somebody who comes in and says, hey, I know how things should be done, even though you guys just won a Super Bowl, which would be really tough to imagine that somebody comes into that situation and wants to mess with what's already working. So who knows?
Yeah.
All right. What's your prediction on the price, real fast, before we go?
9 to 10 billion range. I don't know how down.
Most expensive team in the NFL at that point?
So by far most expensive, because the Commanders sold for like 6.5 something.
Oh.
And the hope is that'll blow by that. The range is 9 to 10, but yes, it'll go way past what the Commanders sold
Which is
for.
great for every other NFL team because it's just like when a house sells on your block that's really expensive, you're like, sweet, my house just went up in value by $50,000. All these other NFL teams, if they approve the highest bid, all their teams are making more money.
Back to the original point of this, that's why the NFL kind of got on the Seahawks to sell, because there was a stipulation of the trust. Like, you need to do this. You need to fulfill this obligation, so then all of our franchise valuations can go up.
Yeah. What a business. Crazy business. All right, Mike Lefko, 710 Seattle Sports. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks, Jake.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Charlie Harder.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
The U.S. Supreme Court wraps up its term with decisions on birthright citizenship and transgender athletes.
Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna weighs in.
Racing for the crowd, Seattle Stadium prepares for its first World Cup match of the knockout round.
Belgium versus Senegal will have a preview.
And highlights of the Mariners and Angels at T-Mobile Park.
Join us tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
What if the retirement plan you think you have isn't enough? Marshall and Ellen thought they were prepared.
We certainly thought we had all documents. We'd done the wills and the power of attorney and all that stuff.
Then they attended a seminar with elder law attorney Rajiv Nagaich at LifePoint Law.
The bigger parts of how that all plays out was definitely helpful.
LifePoint Law showed them what they were missing.
There were things we never thought of that made total sense once they were brought up. To have things planned so that your family isn't left with a mess or having to deal with things that they don't know anything about.
So what's their advice?
People wait too long. Get started, figure out what you want to do. Don't wait too long. Make those decisions and look at all your options.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way on July 7th, Bremerton July 9th, Everett July 11th, or Bellevue July 18th. Space is limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. lifepointlaw.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling from Olympic Hot Tub with exciting news. Our mid-year clearance event is on. You'll score big savings on all in-stock saltwater hot tubs and fabulous saunas. Plus, deep discounts on newly released floor model swim spas. These deals are incredible. But don't wait. Our mid-year clearance ends June 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
There is nothing so special as June in a Northwest garden. Hi, I'm Gina at Sky Nursery. I have been a huge gardener since my now adult kids were shorter than my lavender. This time of year, I like to be out in the garden checking on things, enjoying the afternoon golden hour. If you still have room for new plants, it's a great time to get them in the ground before the summer heat. Explore Sky's colorful tapestry of trees and shrubs, veggies and herbs, fountains, hanging baskets, and more. Sky Nursery, the gardener's garden store. Learn more at skynursery.com.
Do you notice sounds coming from your crawl space or attic, or possibly stale or foul odors in your home? This could be that rodents have gotten into your attic and crawl and have made it their home. They tear up the insulation to make nests to have babies. They contaminate it with their biological waste, which can be harmful to your health. And they ruin your home's energy blanket, costing you thousands of dollars a year. If you even think you may have a problem, call Insulation Northwest today, and we will come to your home as soon as tomorrow and perform a free, no-obligation inspection to determine what the problem is. This inspection normally costs $199, but it's yours free just for calling today. If we discover any problem with rodents in your home, we can get them out out and keep them out and restore your home's protective insulation blanket back to brand new condition. Let Insulation Northwest give peace and comfort back to you and your family and save you thousands of dollars in energy savings. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Summer's a busy time for businesses. WaFd bank accounts are designed to work with business owners like you, stay on top of every dollar, helping manage cash flow, pay vendors, and keep operations running smoothly. Get access to digital tools to simplify banking, like bill pay, signer and non-signer debit cards, and the option to upgrade your account as your business grows. Plus, our business bankers get to know you, so when you need help, we're there. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com, member FDIC.
Always exhausted, loud snoring, keeping your partner awake? You could have sleep apnea and not even know it. South Seattle Smiles has a comfortable solution with no CPAP required. Most medical insurance accepted. Call 206-241-5533 today. SouthSeattleSmiles.com.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
All right, welcome back to the show. This is such a fun story. This is crazy, really. As soon as when I saw this, I think this is on, you guys can watch this on mynorthwest.com. We're going to actually play the video for you right now so we can watch it together. If you guys are on the YouTube page, go to KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM on YouTube. You can click on the Jake and Spike Show live page, or you can also watch on the KIRO Radio app. But there was some folks out crab fishing this is near Westport, called the Tokeland Tidelands, on the Tokeland Tidelands. Am I pronouncing that right? Tokeland Tidelands? Sound right. They are approached by a Fish and Wildlife officer who is very interested in whether or not they have taken more than their allotted share of crab and if they've taken the right type of crab. So if you guys have ever gone crab fishing, you cannot pull females out because you want to have more generations of crab. They have to be over a certain size and age. And so there's inspections that happen from time to time. And this one just gets funnier and funnier. Let's play this video real quick, Laura, and then we can hear a little bit of that, and I can give you guys some of these details. Pretty crazy.
They were wearing, body suits that had crab, tucked into them and sewn into their jackets. So the crab legs right here, what's that?
Can you pause this real fast? So if you're not listening, if you're not watching, this is Fish and Wildlife Officer Garrison, who is approaching some people who are hunting crab or fishing crab. They're only supposed to take whatever the number is, 5 or whatever it is. And they tell him multiple times, no, we don't have any more crab. We don't have any more crab. He's like, well, what's that thing in your pocket moving right there that looks like a crab? And they're like, oh, this thing right here? And then he opens up their pocket, or in one case, it's in her hood, literally in the hood of her jacket. And there's crab legs sticking out of this hood. And he's like, what about the crab in your hood? And they're like, oh, this? Oh, man, how'd this get in there? And he then has to take it out. Let's play a little bit more of the video.
Yeah, okay. So let's take the jacket off. I already got a jacket full of crab. What's that? Those are crab in there. I can see that they're crab. The crab that are in your pants. Everybody's getting criminal tickets. Does she have crab in her bra? It looks like she does. Yeah, I can hear the bag. We have 2 charges. Undersized crab, and then we have not telling me about it when I knew about them, for everybody. They were wearing, body suits.
I think this might be the start of the video again. So funny. So think about that. They're shoving crab in jacket hoods. They're shoving crab. Did he say bra? Is there a crab in your bra? And then there's crab in pants, which generally is another type of crab that people don't want to admit to. I guess in this case, they don't admit to this crab either, but they have crab in their pants. And this would be a crazy job. We're actually trying to get somebody from the Department of Fish and Wildlife to come on with us. I'm sure this is very common. These cannot be the first genius criminals to think about shoving crab into their bra or into their... They've figured out how to crack the code. They've shoved them into their pockets. but we're reaching out to them. We'd like to get them on the show to talk about some of the situations that they find themselves in. He's fortunately, this officer, Garrison, he's very funny. I imagine because this is not the first time he's had to do this and approach people about having crabs in your pants and to say it with a straight face. It doesn't sound like he's even saying it with a straight face. This is one of those days where you probably enjoy your job and then you go home and your wife's like, how was work today? You're like, well, kind of crazy. I caught more people with crabs in their pants and in their hoods and in their jackets and in their bra. But pretty funny story. Good job for the Fish and Wildlife officer to do it with a smile on his face, because he does, and it's very entertaining. You can check that video out at mynorthwest.com. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around when we come back. This is really interesting. Something's happening. In New York, Mayor Mamdani has endorsed non-incumbents, and they have then, they're on their way to probably being elected as congressmen and women in New York. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's doing something similar in Washington, kicking some incumbents out. We'll talk about it next. Stick around.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, afternoons 2 to 7.
All they care about is whether they make money. You could see it. When Trump was out of office, they lost money. Trump comes back in office, they make money. Fox stock goes up, MSNBC goes down, CNN loses viewers, they lose money, everybody's unhappy. They need people to fight.
The John Curley Show. Subscribe to KIRO News Radio on YouTube and watch live or later.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repairs, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Whatever the heat index, stay cool this summer. Your local Bryant dealer can make sure your system is up to the task. Whether it's maintaining your current system or installing an energy-efficient Bryant Evolution cooling system with perfect Humidity Plus technology, your dealer will give you what you need to help your family beat the heat. Learn more and schedule an appointment with a factory-authorized dealer today at BryantNorthwest.com. That's BryantNorthwest.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Explore the American Supercar and British Motorcycle exhibits at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Coming up in July, First Responders Appreciation Day, drive-in movie night, cars and coffee, cruise-in, and more. Dates and tickets at americascarmuseum.org.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition too. It's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court rejected President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship, reaffirming under the 14th Amendment all people born in the U.S. are U.S. citizens. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
This case was significant for President Trump. On his first day in office in his second term, he signed an executive order declaring a national emergency at the southern border and an end to birthright citizenship. Legal challenges followed. And in April 2026, President Trump became the first sitting American president to attend an oral argument at the Supreme Court when he went to hear this case before the justices.
President Trump now urging Congress to act. The labor market holding steady, according to May's monthly job openings and labor turnover survey. Businesses created 7.6 million positions in May, nearly identical to April. The NBA's LeBron James isn't hanging up his laces yet. ESPN confirming that James informed the Los Angeles Lakers he will continue with his career, but elsewhere. He didn't disclose if he chose a new team yet. This is ABC News. One of the major wireless carriers making a switch to its low-cost wireless plans for some customers.
T-Mobile is retiring some of its legacy phone plans, which could affect customers who had Simple Choice or Magenta plans, as well as some old Sprint customers who were grandfathered over from the two companies' merger in 2020. T-Mobile is automatically moving all those customers over to more modern phone plans, with price increases of around $4 a line likely.
ABC's Mike Dubusky, a new warning about ticks and Lyme disease. Visits to ER rooms for tick bites now higher than normal in many parts of the country. Here's ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel.
As the planet gets warmer, the geographic range of ticks even increases. And what else happens with warm weather? People go outside, they go hiking, they enjoy the sunshine. This puts them even in more range to potentially get bitten by a tick.
Experts say to protect yourself, avoid wooded and grassy areas and check yourself. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
A few local companies made the list of best companies to work for. More on that coming up. But first, a quick check on your traffic. We're looking really good out there. In fact, South 5 heading into Seattle is one of our biggest backups, and it isn't bad. You're crowded from Northgate into downtown. You're at the speed limit here. North 5 is crowded from the Michigan Curve to I-90. In fact, here's some drive times. Linwood to Seattle approaching 25 minutes. Alderwood to South Center, the length of 405 southbound is a 40-minute trip, and Federal Way into Seattle just 25 minutes. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. A local soccer legend says she was ready to boycott Seattle's World Cup matches. Former UW coach and Women's World Cup champion Amy Griffin tells G and Ursula ticket costs and branding rules made it hard to support. But she says once the crowds arrived, she was all in.
It is one place right now where you can sit with an opposing jersey sitting next to you and love that person, right?
Yes.
No one's throwing beer at you and no one's, screaming obscenities at you. It's a true, healthy, it does bring the world together.
And that, she says, is something we need right now. An 18-year-old girl is fed up with fentanyl and the people who use it on the streets of Belltown.
Stop doing it in the open. Stop doing it, period. I don't want to breathe that in.
The group We Heart Seattle spoke with Destiny and posted video of the interview on X.
There's these weirdos on the street that smoke fentanyl and being really disrespectful. One of them has a gun and they're threatening me. Actually, people are always harassing me here, catcalling me here.
Destiny wants possession of fentanyl to be a felony. Right now, it's a misdemeanor, which can get a person up to 180 days in jail or a fine of up to $1,000. Andrea Suarez from We Heart Seattle will join the Jake and Spike Show today at 2:06. Microsoft, Costco, and T-Mobile will make the cut for U.S. News and World Report's best companies to work for in 2026. Washington is well represented with 24 companies on the list, but the Seattle Times notes Starbucks and Amazon are nowhere to be found. The rankings weigh pay, work-life balance, stability, and professional development. U.S. News does not explain why individual companies miss the mark. A second fire has sparked at the site of last week's massive Whidbey Island fireworks explosion. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss spoke with a neighbor whose home next door was damaged.
Of course, we're on edge. We're all afraid of what he's going to do next.
Tanya Hernandez says she got a new scare over the weekend when that homeowner returned as she shot video of him while going through the rubble.
So Friday he was smoking a vape, and then he lit a cigarette, and then Saturday he was by all of the propane tanks.
Hernandez says about an hour after he left Saturday evening, she saw smoke and called 911. Fire officials confirming to us it was a rubbish pile.
The Island County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident. Mariners with a much-needed win yesterday as the team returned home to host the L.A. Angels. M's second baseman Cole Young did the heavy lifting in the 6-2 victory, smashing 2 home runs on the night, including this rocket in the 6th inning.
Swung on, crushed. Right field, no doubt, fly away. Cole Young off the facing of the second deck. Unbelievable. A 2-run blast. Cole Young and the Mariners, their 3rd home run on the day.
That was Young's first career multi-home run game. Seattle will look to keep it rolling as they take on the Angels once again today. First pitch is 6:40, and as always, you can catch the action at our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports. And now your KIRO News Radio weather: overcast and 66 this afternoon. Same story tomorrow and Thursday with showers developing Thursday. Friday will warm up to 73 under sunny skies, 61 and cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Spike is enjoying a nice week off, celebrating leading up to 4th of July. Many of you are also doing the same thing. You guys can text us at 888-973-5476. The Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Let me know how you're going to be celebrating the holiday. I'm very interested in where you're getting your fireworks. My kids are asking for a lot of fireworks these days. They're right in that perfect age where they just want to blow stuff up. So we will be trying to decide whether or not to take them to Boom City this year, which for many of my listeners down south, you may not know Boom City, but up north, it's where you get the good stuff. But we will figure that out. Their mom, my wife, does not want us to go and buy things that could be too unsafe for the kids. Within reason, you still want them to have fun. All right, a lot of stuff to get to. At 2 o'clock, I just want to do a quick tease ahead. Andrea Suarez from We Heart Seattle, she's going to join us. You heard Nate there mention the top of the hour news break. She's going to join us to talk about a couple of things, like pretty wild stories that she has experienced lately. We Heart Seattle is a great organization. They go out, they actually make contact with people who are living on the street. Oftentimes, in most cases, they are severely drug addicted, and they love the people of Seattle. That's why they're called We Heart Seattle. And they're trying to get people off the streets, offering them options, trying to help them in a way that when the King County sends out people to interact with drug addicts on the street, by policy, they're not even supposed to mention getting clean. In many cases, they hand out these horrible little bags that help them do clean drugs. They did, clean needles, stuff like that. And I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's a good idea. There are those out there who think that that's, just one step in the process to keep people safe. But that aside, Andrea Suarez and her organization, they do go out and they talk to a lot of people and they try to get them help. And she has 2 stories that we're going to discuss today. One of them is she talked to this 18-year-old girl whose name is Destiny. I'm going to play you a little tease from that audio that Andrea put out there. And I want to talk to her about this experience and what she's seeing. But this was her talking about with 18-year-old Destiny about what Destiny is experiencing in Belltown.
I want to enjoy my day, walking around, like enjoy the beautiful scenery. But a street you turn and there's these weirdos on the street that smoke fentanyl that people are just doing. They don't care. Like there's kids out here and being like really disrespectful. One of them has a gun and they're like threatening me. Actually, like people are always harassing me here, catcalling me here, trying to give me drugs. I know one person, I watched him have possession of fentanyl, smoking it. The police let him go.
Can you imagine how frustrating that would be? Like, we'll talk with Andrea about this in just about an hour. How frustrating it would be to see this happening all the time, knowing that this is illegal. Like when you and I were growing up, we were nervous about doing illegal things in front of cops because we knew that those cops were empowered to arrest us for doing those illegal things. And now that seems like there's like guidance from people like the mayor of Seattle or Seattle City Council who are basically saying like, hey, by the way, cops, it's Mayor of Seattle. By the way, cops, we're not arresting for people having drugs out in the open. Even really bad drugs like fentanyl, which it wasn't even a thing when I was a teenager. I mean, like I've only heard of fentanyl in the last like 10 years. And maybe I live a very sheltered life by design. I try very hard to live a very sheltered life so that I can keep my kids sheltered from the horrible stuff out there. But there are people who cannot avoid it. So they need the city to step in and to try to help out so that they don't have to be confronted. Like this sweet 18-year-old girl doesn't have to be confronted by people trying to offer her drugs or catcalling her, probably saying horrible things because they're drug addicts and they want to do horrible things. And that's just a part of her everyday life. It would be confusing because you're like, aren't there laws against this? Like, why are we not arresting people for these illegal things that we all know is illegal? If it's not illegal, then why have it be laws? Arrest them if they're doing bad things. All right, we'll talk about that. That's one of the stories that Andrea has. The other one, this is crazy. She's out doing a wellness check on somebody in a tent, and they find a 9-month-old baby in a tent with a homeless parent. Horrible situation. Horrible. They're trying to find a home for this pairing, and I think Andrea's going to have an update for us on that. So all good stuff from Andrea at 2 o'clock. All right, let's get into this. This was really interesting. This is kind of some infighting that's happening. I don't even know if this would be infighting. In New York recently, Mayor Mamdani endorsed some candidates for some congressional seats. And essentially, it is ousting longtime office holders. I don't know New York, but one of the office holders, I think, has been there for more than a decade. Another one even longer. And Mamdani is endorsing some very, very progressive candidates for those offices. One of them is named, what's her name here? And the reason we're talking about this is like we're now seeing something very similar. And Mamdani, he's a Democratic Socialist. Katie Wilson in Seattle's Democratic Socialist. We're seeing very similar things in Seattle that we're seeing in New York. But one of the people that Mamdani endorsed her name is Daria Lisa Avia Chevalier. It's a beautiful name, actually. It sounds very French. She's a Democratic congressional nominee. She's been endorsed by Mamdani. And according to CNN, she has this Twitter account that has since been deleted. It's amazing how anybody who runs for office immediately deletes all evidence that they ever existed as a human being. Isn't that disturbing? Like, wouldn't that be one of the first things? Like, if you're going to run for political office, shouldn't you have your online presence be something that you're okay with within the last 10 years? I mean, I understand that people grow. You and I have probably all said things. Thank God that they did not have social media. It was not super active when I was a kid. In fact, when I was young, you had to be a college graduate, or you had to be in college in order to just get a Facebook account. And I don't think that's the case anymore. I think you can have it over, is it 13? I could be wrong about that age, but I think it's over 13. Everybody's got a Facebook account now. Everybody's got an X page. Everybody's got Instagram, or wherever your different, places is that you spend your time. I would find it confusing, though, if you have a political candidate that feels it necessary to delete every single thing that they have ever expressed on social media in a run-up to trying to get elected by the public. But that appears, according to CNN, that appears to be what happened in this case. You have this candidate in New York who posted these things on a since-deleted Twitter account. This is from CNN. Phrases such as seize the means of production, which obviously we all know where that comes from, along with calls to abolish police, prisons, and borders. I don't even know how you abolish prisons and borders. I guess you don't need police. If you don't have prisons, if you don't have anywhere to send anybody who does anything, breaks the law, then why would you need police to arrest those people if there's no repercussions for any bad things that happen? Other controversial tweets include, according to the CNN piece, describing her wiping her dirty hands on the American flag in lieu of a napkin. That sounds nice. She's now the congressional nominee in New York, endorsed by Mamdani, ousting these like political established politicians in New York, also Democrats, because they're not far left enough. Now, Katie Wilson is doing something similar, and this is really interesting. You guys know Jamie Peterson. He's the architect behind the millionaire's tax that was signed into law. It's an income tax on millionaires, but it's not limited to millionaires. They had their opportunity to say that, and they chose time and time again. In fact, he was even on our show, and we asked him, well, like, why not set it at millionaires? And he says, well, we don't want to bind the hands of future legislators in case they run into a problem collecting revenue. We want to make sure that they have access to as much money as possible. So they don't stop it at millionaires, so obviously everybody thinks it's going to become less and less. And even though it's sold as millionaires, everybody assumes that it's just going to apply to anybody who makes more than $75,000, like within a few years. Anyway, you would think that that might be the reason that his political future is in trouble in Washington State. That's not the case. According to this Washington State Standard piece, this is what Katie Wilson said. She has now backed two progressive challengers over two veteran state lawmakers, both Democrats. According to the Washington State Standard, Katie Wilson was asked about this, rejecting the longtime practice of endorsing incumbents who have endorsed her, by the way, who like have definitely been in her camp and made sure that she felt like she had their support. Katie Wilson says there is a strong pressure for elected officials to endorse fellow incumbents. It's a way of maintaining relationships, part of the quid pro quo of governing. We're at an inflection point in our city and our region. Voters are feeling a warranted frustration with the status quo. So I guess this is sort of a roundabout way of saying, like, pound sand to any lawmaker that is an established lawmaker. Time to go. So you have this with a guy like Jamie Peterson, who has, he's the highest, he's the state Senate leader of the Democrats, and they're in power, which makes him the most powerful elected Democrat in the state Senate. And they're basically saying, like, well, you're not far enough, you're not progressive enough, Jamie Peterson. Even though he just passed this income tax in Washington State, you're not progressive enough. Which is very interesting, and I am wondering how this is going to play out. We're going to talk to I think tomorrow, right? Is it tomorrow, Laura? We're hopefully going to have this political insider on who covers this type of thing, who can maybe give us some of the background in how this is all playing out. This would be very frustrating for Jamie Peterson and whoever else Katie Wilson did not endorse. Who is this here? Ron Davis. No, who's the person that? Jerry Pillay. Jerry Pollitt. Pillay or Pollitt, I'm not sure. For these like incumbents who felt like their job was secure because they have passed like the wish list of everything that somebody who is left of center might want. And then Katie Wilson steps up and goes, excuse me, no, not quite. We can do better. We can go further to the left. We can be more progressive. Nationally, this conversation is interesting because we're seeing it in New York. We're seeing it in, obviously, Seattle. We're seeing it in places like Colorado. We're seeing it in Los Angeles, in their mayoral runoff. We're seeing it everywhere. And what it's going to force a lot of people to do, because a lot of these people are like anti-Israel. They seem very anti-American, actually, a lot of them. A lot of Marxist ideology stuff. And we're sitting here celebrating America's 250th birthday, and this is springing up in places. Like a candidate who says that she wipes her hands on the American flag in lieu of a napkin. Is that really a person you would want to vote into office? Somebody who feels the need to delete their social media presence before they even are made, before they're made public, because it reflects very poorly. Think about that. That's crazy. John Fetterman, who has quickly become one of my favorite senators, he talked about this. He talked about this rise of socialism and what is me. And I got a couple clips here. I got two from John Fetterman. I got one from Bill Maher. Democrats, straight up Democrats, talking about how, like, listen, guys, if this is the road that people are heading down, that's not a road that we can follow. This was John Fetterman on Fox News. What I'm saying is that call this out. And now I have a lot of Democrats that are great Democrats, and now they have views that are compatible, but they're not radical kinds of things. But there's a significant part of our party that's getting taken over with these extreme views, whether it's P. Hustle in Maine or the new squad coming in out in. P. Hustle is the online presence that was also scrubbed of Graham Plattner, I believe. He calls him P. Hustle because that was his chosen online moniker that he went by, I believe. New York City or the guy in Colorado. That's the direction that our party's going. Fetterman also talked about how being patriotic is now this partisan thing, this is really interesting. And I think something interesting that maybe the conversation has to happen through all this, this flirtation with socialism in these big city centers for people to remember how horrible that is everywhere it's tried in the world for all of the history of the world. It never works, ever. It's very dangerous. People always end up dying. It's horrible. But maybe there's this flirtation that's necessary to happen so that people kind of like are reminded of these things, If we forget history, we're doomed to repeat it. The other thing that might happen that might be nice is it might give moderates from both sides the ability to like say, hey, what's nice? Like, what if we meet in the middle and we just decide, like, maybe we're not going to agree on some social stuff, which is fine. But like, maybe there's some like just normal bedrock things that we can all like kind of get under the same tent on. I'm talking about like Democrats and Republicans, people who can cross party lines, just things that cross party lines that everybody can agree on. As few and far between as those things might be these days. But like everything is so far apart because social media sucks and your algorithms chase you around and try to convince you that the world is falling apart. And then everybody kind of like just shrinks into their corner and doesn't want to talk about anything, which is really dangerous and a bad thing. And now you have, like John Fetterman talks about here, just being patriotic or celebrating the fact that America is 250 years old. What a beautiful accomplishment. What a great place to live and how lucky we are to be here. And listen to what he says. It's like, unfortunately, this is becoming a partisan issue. Being patriotic now is becoming, partisan right now. You look at the kinds of polls right now, I think 18% of Democrats were intensely proud to be American or proud of the country. And that's truly absurd. You don't have to agree with everyone that's in the White House or some other things. I will always remain intensely proud of our nation and where we are. We are the good guys, in the fight. It's not Iran. It's not Hamas. It's not Hezbollah or these other kinds of countries too. So for me, it's very, very sad. Now, even just being patriotic now has become a partisan thing. It's very sad. He's right. It has become a partisan thing, but it's wonderful to be patriotic. I love America, and I hope that you guys are also celebrating it. We're putting out our flag. I mean, we already have our flag out for 4th of July coming up. And I love seeing my neighbors do the same thing. I love it. It's fun. This is a fun time of year. It's fun to all get excited about the great country that we live in and be reminded. We're so fortunate too, because with the World Cup that just happened, we have all these people from foreign nations around the world coming in and experiencing this amazing America that we all take for granted. We have ranch dressing, folks. Think about that. We have ranch dressing. Everybody loves it. We got Buc-ee's, all the fun stuff. We have air conditioning, which we'll talk about later in the show. Some countries don't. People are dying. It's kind of crazy. They're blaming America because we have air conditioning. But it's a good opportunity for us to celebrate what's beautiful about our country. And yes, there is some political division that happens, but there are some things that we can all agree on. I am interested tomorrow. We're going to talk with this political insider tomorrow who covers Seattle politics to see what the backroom conversations are happening right now. Like, is Jamie Peterson freaking out right now? Probably, I would guess, if his job's on the line. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Speaking of America 250, there's a couple of stories that you may not be aware of. We're kind of doing this thing every day at 1:30 leading up to 4th of July. There's a couple things, a couple parts of American history that you may not be aware of. One of the signers of the Declaration of Independence has a famous midnight run. I didn't grow up in Delaware, so I didn't know the story. He's on the quarter. It earned him a place on the quarter in Delaware. It's a pretty amazing story. And would we be a country today if this guy were not successful? I don't know. We'll tell you about it next. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
Hi, I'm Charlie Harger.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
The U.S. Supreme Court wraps up its term with decisions on birthright citizenship and transgender athletes.
Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna weighs in.
Racing for the crowd, Seattle Stadium prepares for its first World Cup match of the knockout round.
Belgium versus Senegal will have a preview.
And highlights of the Mariners and Angels at T-Mobile Park.
Join us tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Jonathan here from DUI Heroes. Summer's a time to celebrate, but also a time when DUI arrests go up. Please be safe out there and don't make the mistake of drinking and driving. But if you do make that mistake, DUI Heroes is here for you to help get your life back together. We defend you, the person, the human, during the traumatizing and stressful time of going through this. That's why we call ourselves DUI Heroes. Because when the odds are stacked against you, you need a hero on your side. So get your free case evaluation at 1-800-DUI-HERO or DUIHeroes.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
Every day, caregivers change lives. Caregiving offers flexibility, rewarding work, and the chance to make a real difference in your community. If you've been a caregiver before, now is the perfect time to return to this meaningful career and continue making an impact. Washington needs more caregivers, and your compassion, work ethic, and ability to connect with people could be the answer. Turn your care for others into a career you'll love. Visit caregivercareerswa.com for resources and support to start or return to your caregiving career today.
Sponsored by DSHS and aired by the WSAB and this station.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments. Clearly different wealth management. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, want to consider Aegis Living Respite Care, a short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The U.S. Supreme Court out with some major decisions today, including this one saying states can ban transgender athletes from girls and women's sports. The 6-3 opinion upholds laws in Idaho and West Virginia. Let's Go Washington founder Brian Haywood is celebrating. He spoke today with Jason Rantz on Seattle Red.
This strikes at something very fundamental, and that's the parents' role in raising their kids.
Haywood's group behind an initiative that would require student athletes to compete based on biological sex. The ACLU of Washington says it will fight that initiative, saying today's decision is heartbreaking and deeply unfair. Another major decision today upholds birthright citizenship, ending the president's attempt to overturn it. ABC's Cecilia Wang reports.
The Supreme Court decided this issue definitively in 1898 and again today reaffirmed that the 14th Amendment means that everyone born here is a citizen alike.
Reaction from U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as a Congress.
Washington Attorney General Nick Brown launched the fight against that executive order. He called the decision a victory for the Constitution, saying it protects thousands of babies born in Washington each year. To the closing bell report now, and on Wall Street, a positive day. The Dow up 136, NASDAQ gained nearly 400 points, S&P 500 up about 60 points. And a new ranking of America's best workplaces is out. 24 Washington-based companies made the U.S. News & World Report list for 2026. Microsoft, Costco, T-Mobile, Blue Origin, and Expedia all landed in the top 25% of nearly 3,900 companies. That list evaluates pay, benefits, and work-life balance. Seattle Times points out that Starbucks and Amazon did not make the cuts. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 1:32. Here's Nate Connors.
All righty. We're looking really good out there, actually, Aaron. Here in Seattle, South 5, a little crowded from Northgate into downtown, 20 minutes between Linwood and downtown. North 5, we're looking good. Just minimal crowding there at the West Seattle Bridge. Through South Center, North 5 and South 178th. I'm seeing traffic suddenly jamming up right there. We might have a new crash here. In Renton, northbound 167, we're heavy from 180th up to 405 in that exit lane to northbound 405. And South 405 getting crowded from I-90 down to Northeast 44th there near the BMAC. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Now to your forecast. We are seeing once again mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-60s, much like yesterday. Right now, 60 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are just days away from the 250th birthday of America, which is why Spike's not here. He's taking the week off. He smartly counted up the number of company holidays, and he said, I can just take a couple days off. I get the whole week off. So good for him. I don't look at calendars. That was my mistake. So I'm here. I'm very excited to be here. One of the things we're doing every single day is we're looking back at pieces of American history. I'm trying to learn more about American history that I was unaware of. I mean, we all kind of know the big stuff, but there's little pieces that all kind of add to this amazing country that we are fortunate enough to live in, which almost wasn't. This is the case with the Declaration of Independence. It was signed by a guy named Caesar Rodney. I've never heard of this guy. He was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. But if you're not from Delaware, you may not know who he is, but he's quite famous in Delaware because he has something called the Midnight Ride, which is pretty cool, especially when you consider how far he had to ride and what his health was at the time. But let me just describe for you just a little bit about what was required all the way back. Let's take you all the way back to, this is actually tomorrow, 250 years ago tomorrow, July 1st, 1776. You have the Second Continental Congress. They hold a vote for independence on whether or not they want to, and they had to, the way that it worked out is that they were requiring unanimous support. So they needed all the vote to go the same way. So they could say unanimously, all of the colonies are voting to become an independent nation. Delaware had 3 delegates, and the 3 delegates in Delaware were Thomas McKeon and George Reed. And then you have this third guy whose name was Caesar Rodney. Now, Thomas McKeon out of Delaware, he voted in favor of independence. George Reed, another delegate from Delaware, this was in Philadelphia, but obviously from Delaware, George Reed voted against it. He did not think that America should be an independent nation and split off from, not the UK at the time, but from England. Caesar Rodney was in favor of independence, but he was not there at the time. So they were tied 1-1. But again, they needed this unanimous vote. So they were tied. So it wasn't going to happen. So word got back to, and he needed to get there in he had a day and a half to get there. They needed to, vote on this. So Caesar Rodney, who apparently was also suffering from a very painful facial cancer, which I guess there's not completely sure of what type of cancer it was. It was either on his cheek or it was jaw cancer. But it was so bad that when he went out, he had this distorted face. And when he went out in public, he had to wear a green scarf because of the distortion that it gave to his face. All the, the ways that he was trying to fight it. And so he wore this green silk scarf when he went out in public. It's really just fascinating to think about these guys as real people. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, how they seem almost like, characters in a movie because we're so far removed from them in time. 250 years ago is a long time. But they were just leading lives like you and I lead. Every single day, getting up, doing your work, coming back, taking care of your family, going to bed. They're not sure about what is going to happen. They see the need for independence with America. They feel like they have this tyrannical government across the pond who's not treating us nicely, and they want to break away from that, but they don't know how that's going to go. It could very easily cost them all their lives, but they see this as something that they need to do, so they want to have this unanimous vote. So Caesar Rodney realizes that he's got to get to Philadelphia. Now, he's back in Delaware at the time because he was back there dealing with this uprising that was happening, this militia thing. And so he's back in Delaware. He's 80 miles away. And so he goes on a midnight ride to get to Philadelphia in order to cast a vote. But will he make it? It's hot. It's summertime. There's apparently a very bad thunderstorm, as you might imagine, happens sometimes. There's a very bad thunderstorm, and he rides through the night, and he gets there to the Continental Congress, who, again, needs this unanimous vote. And they say that he walks in and he's still wearing his riding boots and spurs. I mean, this guy must have looked like such a boss when he walks in. I don't know if he's wearing the green silk scarf at this point, but you talk about a character in history. And he casts the vote. They're able to say that it's now unanimous, that all the colonies are together on this. They want to declare independence. And they do. And because this guy has that famous midnight ride, he's one of the pieces, not the only piece, but one of the pieces that leads to us becoming the greatest nation on the planet, which I firmly believe that we are. He is commemorated in Delaware. They commemorate him with the state quarter in 1999. It was the first one of the 50 state quarters that was minted, and it was commemorating his midnight ride. I was thinking that the midnight ride was, when you hear about a ride, you think about Paul Revere. But no, this is the famous, that was also a ride at night. And that's with the lights or the one if by land, two if by sea. But this is the midnight ride that a lot of people didn't know about, yourself, myself included. And so it's just a little piece of history now that you guys can take back and share with your friends. Here's another cool thing about history that you may not be aware of. American lifespan has doubled since they signed the Declaration of Independence. So the lifespan typically in 1776, if you go back 250 years, the lifespan in 1776 was about 35 to 40 years old, which would make me like already older than the life expectancy in 1776. There's a little caveat here because they say if you survived childhood, then your lifespan would typically jump up into the 60s or 70s. But when you factor in just how so many people died of like childhood illnesses back in the early part of our nation, that the average life expectancy was 35 to 40 years. Think about how crazy that is. I mean, like, talk about how good we have it these days. But if you did live through childhood, past childhood, then you were likely to live into your 60s or 70s. And some of our founding fathers actually lived into like older than most modern time people live. Thomas Jefferson, he died at 83. This is really interesting, actually. So Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, who at one point were like kind of not complete allies, were kind of, I think they found each other quite annoying. They became dear friends, though. Thomas Jefferson died July 4th, 1826, at the age of 83. John Adams, who became a lifelong dear friend of Thomas Jefferson, he died on July 4th, 1826, at the age of 90. And I believe they died within like an hour of each other, maybe a couple hours of each other, which is really amazing when you think about it. Not only did they live past the like current life expectancy, I think the average lifespan of a man in America is somewhere around like 78 years, maybe 82. But these guys, obviously these guys were very well off and they did very well and they probably made healthy life choices, whatever. But in old-timey medicine, 250 years ago, they still lived to like 83 and 90. So good for them. Fantastic. Alexander Hamilton, he's another famous name that you guys might recognize. He died at 47, but obviously that was because of the duel that he had with Vice President Aaron Burr. Did you ever see Hamilton, the play Hamilton?
You know, I never, no, that's a lie. I never saw it on stage, but I did see it when it released on Disney
movie?
Plus.
Yeah. I've still never seen it. I assume that this is a big part of the story, his famous duel with Alexander Burr.
Everything kind of leads up to that.
Or Aaron Burr, I should
but
say.
There's a lot more going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that's fascinating. But what's crazy is I was reading about, these are all just things I'm learning about America 250. I was reading about why he ended up in a duel, which you hear about that growing up, like, oh yeah, Alexander Hamilton, he died of a gunshot wound from a duel. It's insane to think that they lived in a time when you were having duels. And he died at 47. And the reason they had a duel is because apparently Alexander Hamilton, not a fan of Aaron Burr. Politically, he would say things about him. He would say that he was dangerous. Just think about the language that modern politicians use today to describe politicians that they don't like. I mean, they say horrible, horrible things. And Alexander Hamilton apparently at a dinner referred to Aaron Burr as a dangerous man. Just saying, like, politically, he didn't like his politics and referred to him as a, quote, dangerous man who shouldn't be trusted. Now, Aaron Burr ends up losing that campaign and then calls out Alexander Hamilton. And, like, the only way back then, because they have this, like, 19th century aristocratic code of conduct that they have to settle their problems through, this code of honor, the only repercussion that they had was to shoot at each other with muskets or pistols or whatever they were using. And so he challenges him to a duel. They end up going and having a duel at the dueling grounds, which is an actual place. It's like you and I might meet up at a burger chain or a coffee bar to have a nice coffee, to have a chat. They had dueling grounds. This is how crazy life was back in the early 19th century. And Alexander Hamilton ends up getting shot in the stomach, and then he dies the next day, probably from an infection from the wound. Anyway, just some more stuff we're learning about America 250. I hope you guys can use some of that as you guys celebrate America this week. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Next, the deputy mayor in Paris is saying some crazy things about America and how we use AC and what it's doing to them in Europe. We will tell you about it next. It's kind of crazy. Stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, afternoons 2 to 7.
You have a whole bunch of people getting on, not paying. Imagine this on a bus. You get on the bus, you got your little stupid card that you paid for, and you swipe it, and then the seat folds down and you can sit down. There's no standing. So if you get on and you don't have a little card, whoop, there's no place for you to sit. Whoosh, out the back.
The John Curley Show. Subscribe to KIRO News Radio on YouTube and watch live or later.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of fella who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Yeah! Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Have you ever really thought about what happens when you can no longer care for yourself?
If you're not prepared, it's like they just ship you off to a nursing home and you may not even have considered all the options that are available to you.
After retiring, Vic attended a free seminar with elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach at LifePoint Law, and it changed the way he planned for his future.
He talked about not running out of money, not being a burden to your family. Those are two kind of basic principles that are obviously important.
So what's Vic's advice?
You have to have a plan. You need a running start. You need to be able to understand the system. I would encourage people to consider getting educated. Rajiv has a lot of knowledge, a lot of practical experience that can be helpful.
Register for a free LifePoint Law Retirement Planning Seminar in Federal Way on July 7th, Bremerton July 9th, Everett July 11th, or Bellevue July 18th. Space is limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. lifepointlaw.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
There is nothing so special as June in a Northwest garden. Hi, I'm Gina at Sky Nursery. I have been a huge gardener since my now adult kids were shorter than my lavender. This time of year, I like to be out in the garden checking on things, enjoying the afternoon golden hour. If you still have room for new plants, it's a great time to get them in the ground before the summer heat. Explore Sky's colorful tapestry of trees and shrubs, veggies and herbs, fountains, hanging baskets, and more. Sky Nursery, the gardener's garden store. Learn more at skynursery.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling from Olympic Hot Tub with exciting news. Our mid-year clearance event is on. You'll score big savings on all in-stock saltwater hot tubs and fabulous saunas. Plus, deep discounts on newly released floor model swim spas. These deals are incredible. But don't wait. Our mid-year clearance ends June 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'll tell you what, this next story is getting a lot of press. This is everywhere on the internet. Deputy Mayor of Paris. I've been to Paris once in my life. I never actually got out of the airport, so I actually can't say what Paris is like. I was on my way to Italy, which was nice. Italy is very nice. I wouldn't expect this kind of stuff coming from Italy. But from Paris, I can't say it shocks me. This was from the deputy mayor in Paris. A Paris politician whose name is Audrey Pulvar, deputy mayor for Paris. She was responding to social media posts. It's been really hot in parts of Europe, like really, really hot in the hundreds, and they're big against air conditioning over there because it's bad for the environment and it's going to cause more climate change. So even though it's really hot over there, they're like, hey, we're going to do our part. We don't want any AC. And so we want to make sure that we're not part of the problem. That's what they assume. So people have been commenting on the fact that they have no AC over there, essentially. And because they have no AC, you have all these people. This was a crazy part of the story, too. I'm going to read you what the deputy mayor said in Paris about America in just a second. But the reason people are talking about this is they have all these deaths because of like heat exhaustion, excessive deaths because of heat-related deaths. A bunch of them just from people who are not equipped to be in the water, who are drowning. Like in the last month, they've had like 40-something drownings in Paris because people are just trying to figure out how to cool down. They have had 1,300 excess deaths since June 21st. 1,300. In fact, there's an article that says the only way to cool down in France right now, in Paris, is to be placed into a morgue, which is obviously a very dark, way to approach the story. But they're literally having to add. Local morgues are having to request special permission to use more refrigeration than they are allotted so that they can store all the extra bodies that are piling up because it's very, very hot and they don't have AC, again, in many parts of Europe. Here's a story out of Germany. Here's a hospital where people have to recover from heart surgery. The temperature inside the hospital, because they don't have air conditioning, there's no central air allowed, the temperature inside the hospital is 100.4 degrees. Imagine that. So anyway, you have all these people dying in Paris, and it's just crazy, crazy hot. And so people on social media have been criticizing Paris for this, saying like, why don't you guys just get AC? It would be a lot easier for your mostly senior citizen population who are dying as a result of the fact that your country is 104 degrees and there's no way for those people to cool down. Why don't you just get some AC? So this was her response. She wrote this on social media. She says, as the second largest emitter of greenhouse gas emissions in the world, she's talking to America here, You bear a significant amount of responsibility for global warming and the consequences we in France are experiencing. Your cities, which are 90% air-conditioned, are not unrelated to this. So please, enough with the lecture. Just start doing your part. Can you imagine that? Like, this is their deputy mayor, and she's saying that the reason that it's hot over there is because people are using air conditioner over here. And this is not like a singular crazy view. Here's another guy. This is like the predominant theory in the UK. This is a guy getting angry at anybody using AC because they're killing the climate. And literally people are dying because it's so hot in Europe because they're overheating and they're dying of heat exhaustion or they're drowning. But they're saying that, like, yeah, our AC in America is killing people. Listen to this guy in the UK.
You need to turn off your air conditioning and remove it from your house. Those of you using air conditioning in the UK are the reason for the climate emergency and the record-breaking temperatures which are destroying the planet and taking people's lives. It is not okay for you to watch the world burn while the rest of us have to stand in paddling pools, use hand fans and wear fewer clothes. It is not okay to destroy the planet, and we need to change the law.
By the way, as he's saying this, he's just caked in sweat. I don't know if that was sprayed on for effect. It's very possible that he sprayed it on with a water bottle. It's very effective, though. He looks very hot.
And make these devices illegal. Devices that have a high carbon footprint just so you can stay cool should be a crime. And the prosecutions and fines that follow should be retrospective to anybody who owns air conditioning or has it installed in their homes.
They do not like air conditioning. Here's a crazy thing, though. In countries like this, it's always for thee, but not for me. So at the EU, at the European Union headquarters in Brussels, they shut down all the AC for employees on floors 1 through 7. But up on the top floors where the executive work, they kept it on, which is kind of crazy. If it's so bad, they should just turn it off for everybody. All right, Andrew Suarez from We Heart Seattle. She's coming on with us next. She's got a couple of crazy stories, stuff that she's seeing out there. She will be in studio live, so make sure you don't miss that. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, afternoons 2 to 7.
All they care about is whether they make money. You could see it. When Trump was out of office, they lost money. Trump comes back in office, they make money. Fox stock goes up, MSNBC goes down, CNN loses viewers, they lose money, everybody's unhappy. They need people to fight.
The John Curley Show. Subscribe to KIRO News Radio on YouTube and watch live or later.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026. From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than a tear out. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS4KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to cars4kids.org now or call 877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth. If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, you do not have the time to deal with a market downturn.
With Mark Stimson and Casey Elkins.
It's important that you know what the rules are, because if you don't, you can make some tremendous decisions that could adversely affect you, and you may not be able to go back and fix them.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth, Saturdays at 11 a.m., right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court rejecting President Trump's efforts to rescind birthright citizenship, affirming babies born in the U.S. are U.S. citizens under the 14th Amendment. More from ABC's Devin Dwyer.
This is something that every lower court that has looked at it has struck down or sided against President Trump. So in that sense, it's not that monumental, but it is significant given the political significance to President Trump and what he has put into this case, lobbying the justices on social media, attending those arguments in person.
In another case, justices ruled to uphold a lower court ban on trans athletes from playing on high school teams for women and girls. The race to find more survivors continues in Venezuela following the double earthquakes, nearly 2,000 now confirmed dead and more than 10,000 injured. GOP Congressman Tom Kaine Jr. of New Jersey returning to Congress following a 4-month absence due to a medical issue. He told lawmakers he was hospitalized with depression. This is ABC News. In New York City, ahead of the July 4th holiday, there is excitement building on another celebration. ABC News has learned Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce may hold wedding-related events at New York's Madison Square Garden. Sources tell ABC News that some streets will be closed off during those events, and canopies and tents will be near the venue for privacy. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more on the schedule of events.
The first one is Thursday afternoon at about 6 p.m., and that's supposed to be for about 100 people. The following day, on Friday, beginning at 4 p.m., 4 in the afternoon at MSG, there's a cocktail hour and then a 12-hour party that's supposed to run until 4 a.m. Saturday morning. That one's for about 1,000 people.
Extreme heat continuing across the nation's midsection, expanding to the East Coast in the coming days. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Coming up, a key vote to address the crime along Aurora Avenue. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This one brought to us by the KIRO Newsradio app. Let's start you up north in Everett, westbound 2. We've got a brief backup there at the State Route 204 interchange as we recover from an earlier collision that was closer to I-5. Eastbound 526, we're getting packed between the Boeing plant and I-5. Here in Seattle, South 5, you're crowded from Lake City Way just past the West Seattle Bridge, where we have a collision in your right lane, 25 minutes from Linwood. North 5 filling in, approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Bellevue to Renton on 405 is a 20-minute trip. You're thick as you head through Factoria. And northbound 405 is crowded from South Center through the S-curves. Text app to 888-973-5476 and download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. The full Seattle City Council is meeting right now, voting on a plan to block traffic on residential streets near Aurora Avenue North. As part of an effort to curb shootings and sex trafficking along the corridor, Council President Joy Hollingsworth tells KIRO Radio's Gian Ursula.
We all want the same thing, was pimps and Johns off the street
and get the girls the survivor-centered care that they need.
Council is expected to pass this measure. It would take effect immediately. No charges will be filed against the 2 drivers involved in a crash that killed a Washington State Patrol trooper last December. Tara Marissa Guting was investigating a collision on Highway 509 near Tacoma when she was struck and killed. Trooper Chris Loftus says prosecutors could not prove a crime occurred.
We've got a great deal of trust and appreciation in both the investigators and the courts. We know it was difficult for them, just as it's been difficult for us and for the family.
Investigators say one driver did stop immediately. The other kept going, later telling detectives he thought he'd hit a pothole. Starting tomorrow, the Washington Cares program will start paying out benefits for the state's long-term care fund. This is funded by a payroll tax, providing a lifetime benefits of up to $36,500 for things like in-home caregivers and meal delivery. Christina Keys cared for her mother, who suffered a stroke.
That $36,000 gives us a point where we can take a breath and figure out what we need to do next. So I'm very grateful that it's going to be there for me and for others like myself in the future.
Critics called the benefit way too small, arguing it may give workers a false sense of security. Others point out most workers cannot opt out of the payroll tax that funds the program. And Washington's gas tax is on the rise again. Starting tomorrow, it goes up another penny to 56.5 cents per gallon. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun reports.
This comes after the state hiked up the gas tax by 6 cents last year. That was the first increase in 9 years. The measure included an inflation adjustment every year after, so this year it's going up by another 2%. It's part of a plan to boost the state's transportation budget. Washington has the 3rd highest gas tax in the country behind California and Pennsylvania.
And now to your forecast. Seeing mostly cloudy skies today. They'll stay like that for this afternoon with highs in the low to mid 60s. Right now 60 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. I'm flying solo this week. Spike O'Neill is out, enjoying some time, a little vacation time for this wonderful 4th of July holiday. But I'm excited in studio. I welcome right now Andrea Suarez from We Heart Seattle joins me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you for being here. All right. I texted you earlier today. I'm like, can you come in the studio and talk about this? I saw the story. There's 2 things I would like to talk about with you that you have recently seen while doing some of your outreach that you do through We Heart Seattle. And for anybody who's listening who may not be aware of your organization, what do you guys do? Like in very brief summary, like what do you set up to accomplish, and how are you guys doing it?
6 years ago, out of frustration when we didn't receive a lot of support from the government to pick up trash and needles in our parks, We Heart Seattle got on the ground and have now picked up more than 2 million pounds of trash without the government support. And in doing that, we've helped hundreds of people off the street. Our mantra is trash, trust, triage, and then the truth telling. So we really have learned a lot about spectacular policy failure by doing this boots on the ground work. And now, we're a nonprofit and running daily 7 days a week.
Can you tell me a little bit that truth-telling part? Can you describe a little bit what that is?
Yes, sure. After picking up, we say the truth is beneath the trash, and we found out that we have a drug problem, right? More than a housing crisis. And so I didn't read it in a school room or a book or because I listened to a lot of talk radio, but I learned that housing people with severe untreated mental illness and drug addiction is harmful. And so I became an advocate to speak against housing first, meaning housing with no condition, drugs are allowed, versus treatment first, getting into psychiatric care and treatment before handing the keys to somebody. So that's the space I landed. Didn't know 5 years ago by picking up parks that I would be here. I've been to Washington, D.C. now. I've served on many roundtables around policy discussions. I'll be going to Tequila on July 13th to convince their council to ban camping in parks.
Yeah.
Just today, we moved a 9-month-old baby from Kinnear Park who was living with an addicted mother who trades tricks for drug money. The camp was full of needles, and I'm advocating that, where is CPS? Where's law enforcement? Where's intervention? Why aren't our parks safe? Why aren't our babies safe? And so, yeah, it's really just revealed a lot of spectacular policy failures, and that's the truth-telling and the part that I'm most interested in serving for the community at this time.
Because you didn't go into this with an agenda. You went in to clean up trash, and it ended up you discovered all this truth, like you said, beneath the trash, all these sad realities that are out there. Can we? It's depressing as the story is. Can we stick with the 9-month-old story for a second?
Sure.
That is an unbelievable story. How did you happen upon this pairing? This is a child and the child's mom, who again you said is prostituting herself for drug money. Did you just find them in a tent? Were you aware that they were there? Were you out looking for them, or did you just go, "Oh my gosh, that's a baby"?
Well, this happens a lot, Jake. A lot of the time we get what we call community call-ins. A concerned dog walker said there's a baby living in the park near the off-leash dog park. That's insane. We immediately responded. We found out that this mom and baby are known within the system. They had housing. They were at the More We Love. They were at Mary's place.
Why are they not still in housing?
Well, because there's rules and requirements, and those are places that want you to progress. And,
she didn't want to progress.
Didn't work for her. And so instead she has camps and parks that enable her to stay addicted and trapped and birth this baby. And sadly, she just rolled right off of her tongue. I said, "Where's the father?" She goes, "Oh, he was just a trick." One trick.
Gosh.
So now we're talking unprotected sex, on the track, spreading disease, making babies, and this is somehow an affordability crisis.
Now, let me ask you a question, because there's going to be people listening who would say, like, okay, well, if she is not able to live in a place that has requirements, then that might make an argument for a housing first approach. But you're not arguing that.
She had housing first. She keeps abandoning it. Not to mention she has 2 other children that are with family because she's not allowed because of the drugs, right? So it doesn't, in the housing that she had, made her, she said it was mentally traumatizing for her to be around other people.
Yeah.
For
whatever reason, she ends up back in the same situation. Why does she still have that child with her? I mean, I would assume that if the dog walkers called you guys, the people who saw this kid living in a park, this was in a tent. They must have called local authorities as well. They must have called the police. Like,
correct.
What was the response from Seattle PD?
So we've seen this play out multiple times.
This was in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, This goes back, if you followed my movement, people probably remember a very famous story about baby Oliver, who was living in Ballard, an infant. The 9-year-old boy that was living in a tent over in Greenwood, and this baby. And in every case, we heard Seattle and our providers had a hand in forcing CPS, forcing law enforcement, sounding the alarm, doing these testimonies, showing the pictures. I mean, it's hard. It shouldn't be this hard to point and say, woman in tent on drugs with all the accoutrement, proving that she's also doing sex work, bringing huge queen-size mattress in her tent, all the things, baby toys mixed with condoms,
Oh, my gosh.
I've seen it all. I mean, in fact, I'm just desensitized to it. But there's a Keep Families Together Act that I'm also trying to getting more and more involved with, like lowering the threshold. Let's just take off the table. We're not going to argue anymore about camping. We're done. Like, we get it. The people are poor. They need a place to go. They don't like shelters. There's bed bugs. There's sex offenders over here. There's all the problems, all the reasons why women don't want to be in these shared spaces. I'll give you all that, except for one thing. You got to give me back, if you're on narcotics, full stop. Because then 100% of the tents in the parks, under the bridges, are drug related. I mean, this isn't even.
You say it's 100%?
I mean, it's, fine 99, whatever. But it's just like on one hand, this person, we had a woman and 5 children in Virgil Flame Park in Lake City Way last week. We celebrated, like, wow, clown car. Just one kid after another came out of a tent. We picked them up. We did an emergency hotel. We thought, okay, great. We're going to get them triaged over to another one of our providers. That provider said, you need to make a commitment towards getting medically detoxed. And she said, not ready. Got picked back up, moved her right back into the park.
With her kids? Mm-hmm. So they're there right now?
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is all over now. I mean, this enablement of you don't have to get off of drugs, even if you're a mother with young children, needs to stop. We were in Olympia on Saturday marching against Keep Family Together act in the name of dead babies. I think 11 plus already have died this year. We're now, the Keep Families Together Act people are now celebrating, we've given out 7,000 cartridges of Narcan this year. Yay us. And reversed 4 babies a day on average. Yay Narcan. I'm like, that's your measure of success? We're managing the crisis. And meanwhile, babies are still dying. Human beings, I think Center Square just reported something like 26 people have already passed away due to drug-related deaths since May 26th. I mean, barely a month later. And I mean, for me, I'm like raising the flag saying, I'm over it, Jake. I think we should go back to pre-2021 and make simple possession of fentanyl a felony. Again, we can segue to the 18-year-old.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. You talked to, this was in Belltown.
Mm-hmm.
Did this girl approach you?
She did. I was standing there on the corner. I walk by it multiple times a day. I live on the block. And she ran towards me like, hey, lady, I've seen you on the internet. You know, I've been up in my video game if people haven't noticed. And I said, okay, what's going on? She goes, well, this is drugs. It's guns. It's fentanyl.
Let me play a little clip of this.
Sure.
This is 18-year-old Destiny. You posted this video on, I think I saw this on X, but here's Destiny.
I want to enjoy my day walking around, like enjoy the beautiful scenery. But a street you turn and there's these weirdos on the street that smoke fentanyl that people are just doing. They don't care. Like there's kids out here and being like really disrespectful. One of them has a gun and they're like threatening me. Actually, like people are always harassing me here, catcalling me here. Trying to give me drugs. I know one person, I watched him have possession of fentanyl, smoking it. The police let him go.
This would be so incredibly frustrating. I talked about this to tease you coming on at 2 o'clock. I talked a little bit about this earlier. I don't often think about a place like Belltown from the perspective of like a young person who has to go out there, especially from like a young female's perspective. I remember Belltown when I first moved to Seattle. I grew up around here, and I've worked downtown since I was 16. I was a ball boy for the Sonics, so I was like coming down here all the time. It was great. I loved it. And I never once was worried, even late night games at Key Arena, then Key Arena, it's now Climate Pledge. I never worried about like being accosted by people who were doing crazy drugs and were just desperate. You might see drunks out there in like the Seattle Center area, but there was like a precinct there, so you never really had to worry about it. There were cops around. That world is gone. That is a completely different experience now. And Belltown, when I was out of college and I moved down to Green Lake, lived with 3 buddies of mine. We all shared a big apartment. We would go down to Belltown. That was a cool place to go hang out. You had all the great bars, all the cool places to go. That's not a place that I would feel confident now going down there as a 42-year-old man. I wouldn't go down there, but there are people down there who have to live down there, and they have to see this all the time. Like this young girl who's 18 who's being approached by weirdos, like she says.
She's being
catcalled.
Yeah, she's being...
God knows what they would do if they get her on drugs. We've seen the sex trafficking that happens on Aurora.
Yeah, no, she's being preyed on to be trafficked. I mean, she's young. It was an interesting situation. She knew who I was. She knew my talking points. I didn't coach her at all. She just rambled off exactly what I've been saying. So we'll see where that goes. But prior to 2021, possession of fentanyl or narcotics was a felony. People wouldn't do it in public so much. Fentanyl changed the game. It's cheaper. It's stronger. You don't get a felony for possession. Now you may get a charge for gross misdemeanor, and you might go to the diversion program, right? The LEAD program, the gold standard. Well, the LEAD program allows you to smoke fentanyl in the hotel they give you while they're quashing your warrant. Where is the accountability in that? How are you supposed to do person-centered care when you're loaded? I don't get it. I hate this program. And my frenemy, Lisa Dugard, with all due respect, knows I'm like, just at least put them on a Suboxone taper. If it's going to be an alternative to jail makes you Suboxone taper. So at least say, and she goes, well, then they wouldn't come into the program. Well, then they'll have to go to jail, wouldn't they, Lisa?
Yeah.
Well, jail doesn't work.
So there's no answer. The answer is just let them keep doing drugs until they die.
The answer is to make it a felony again.
Yeah.
Make it have teeth. 3 strikes, you're out. Take the felony or go to mandatory 6-month treatment.
I think the worm is turning on this. I think people are actually starting to just get so fed up with it. And I know that like parts of Seattle look really beautiful right now because of the World Cup, and there's a lot of attention on it. But this stuff didn't just disappear. Maybe got pushed somewhere else. but it's still out there. I mean, there's still 9-month-olds living in tents at our local parks, which is just horrible. People are tired of hearing about fentanyl and the devastation. I had never even heard of fentanyl. I was mispronouncing it until 2 years ago. I still mispronounce it all the time. But I'd never even heard of it as a drug. 10 years ago, I didn't know what it was. My wife, when we had one of our kids, we have 4 boys, but when we have one of our kids, they put her on, during delivery, they put her on some version of like a very light version of a delivery fentanyl that they put her on. And she still to this day is like, that was the most powerful, crazy experience where they give it to her and within seconds, her entire body is just totally numb. And that was given to her by doctors, under guidance, all those different things so that she could safely deliver a human out of her body. Imagine now you have these people on the streets who are taking many times more powerful version of that drug, just doing it on their own. I mean, like that's only going to lead to devastation.
It's wild. I mean, one hit, you're done. One pill can kill. The fentanyl changed the game. It's so powerful. It's so cheap. It's like we're in a smokeless war with China. The precursors are coming out of China. Clandestine labs, Mexico. It comes across the border. Washington, California, and Washington, we know decriminalized from a felony to these gross misdemeanors. Who has all the problems? California, Washington, and Oregon. There's just, I always say, well, deep blue cities and deep blue states, we're just, we're very compassionate, liberal states. But there is a ripple effect of people, walking back these laws and doing things like making it illegal to distribute drug paraphernalia like foil and crack pipes, soda soap zones. So one of the things about Blanchard, where we met Destiny, is Blanchard is between the soda zone, stay out of drug area. So if you're north or south of Blanchard, which is in the heart of Belltown, surrounded by 25 sports bars where all of the FIFA tourists are, and all of the signs are coming up a lot off of Blanchard, which I'm like, at least they're not stealing. They're going to get some tourist cash for their dope.
Sure.
But Blanchard is a pressure cooker. It's sandwiched right between, that's where they had to draw the line. And so police are kind of leaving that alone in that area. And people like me are just walking through it saying, I'm done. Like, you can't just be getting loaded on our block. And yeah, as Destiny said, nobody's doing anything about it. It's too big. Even if they are, the cops are like, look, Andrea, we are doing something about it. We're arresting.
Yeah.
But
if they're not being prosecuted or not being locked up, and, there's this false idea that there's no place for these people to go and that housing is the only problem, but that's not the case. But can we get back to this baby for a second, this 9-month baby? I cannot even imagine. I mean, you said you're kind of desensitized to it now because you see it so much. I can't even fathom a world where you are happening upon that situation and you would want to just open your own home to that woman and the child and just be like, hey, just come and live with me. Get away from this. But she's not seeing things clearly because all she cares about is that drug that she has to have. What has happened with that 9-month-old? Did you guys get that kid into a safer situation? Did you get the mom?
Today we picked her up and moved her into a tiny home. And one of her other advocates said this is not over yet. And we're doing what we can kind of confidentially and quietly behind the scenes with CPS. But she will be back in that park, in those tents, even with the tiny home. It's a low barrier, meaning she can still do drugs. She can have her pit bull. She can have her baby in this little hot box fit for a lawnmower. And I don't love it, but at some point you compromise and go, okay, we'll move her here and continue to advocate that she get treatment and be separated from her child until she can get treatment. Because now she's still going to do what she needs to do to get dope. And, I'm going to get on methadone and I have all these goals. And it's like, okay, but when? But I'm not required. And you just hope to God she's got a good case management team, which she does. She's now been fully surrounded by my team and the team at the More We Love, who has an emergency shelter, of which the mom has been. Yeah. She's been to Mary's Place. I mean, wow, Mary's Place, the gold standard for families and children. But that didn't work out for her either. The streets win, Jake. Why? Because we're permissive. There's no consequence. If she knew she would go to prison for possession of for fentanyl or do real time, you think she'd do it?
No.
Full stop.
I think it would force her to have a wake-up call that she's unwilling to have right now because she doesn't have to have it.
Yeah. And she has 2 other kids that she's had with a baby daddy. She goes, remember, so-and-so from 5 years ago? I'm like, you've been out here doing this for 5 years. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, wrap it up, man. I mean, and you think, these people go up on the track and, you're thinking this is a safe thing to do. I mean, we're worried about the spread of disease, so we're handing out people needles and
oh my gosh,
and condoms.
It's just you're describing a living hell. I have so much sympathy for these people in this situation. At the same time, I'm like, they need a firm hand to force them to. They're not seeing the light. They're stuck in the darkness and they're not seeing the light.
Yeah. If camping was banned, if no tents, these tents are a constellation of bad things. One of the other things that we saw today in kind of cleaning up the camp a little bit, diapers are everywhere, formulas everywhere, needles are everywhere, hooker shoes are everywhere, dirty baby rags are everywhere, was a milk jug full of gasoline. Somebody had gone around and tried to put the tent on fire. And my team and I looked at each other and were like, why does it smell like gasoline? And we picked up a jug and we could see vigilantism is real. And when we let these people squat in our park with babies and people get angry and
people
snap.
die.
I mean, I'm not, but these stories are out there online. And you think about, do you want somebody to come by and kidnap the baby, harm the mom?
No, this is horrible.
She's been hanging out with 3 men caring for the baby while she works, doing who knows what. I mean, pedophilism is real, dude.
Oh my gosh. Andrea Suarez, if people want to follow you online, where can they find you?
We Heart Seattle, kind of all over X, TikTok.
Check it out. All right. Thank you for the work you do. I mean, it's important to highlight these things so that people are aware that it's happening and we all can open our eyes to it because it's real and it's happening and it needs to get solved.
Voting has consequences.
Yeah, 100%. Andrea, thank you for the work you do. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Hi, I'm Charlie Harger.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
The U.S. Supreme Court wraps up its term with decisions on birthright citizenship and transgender athletes.
Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna weighs in.
Racing for the crowd, Seattle Stadium prepares for its first World Cup match of the knockout round.
Belgium versus Senegal will have a preview.
And highlights of the Mariners and Angels at T-Mobile Park.
Join us tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Mom, she was living on her own and scared. We didn't feel it was very safe for her. And we found Aegis. Love it. Everybody is so welcoming and she is just so safe here.
She has serious Alzheimer's disease. When she sees me, she smiles, she gives me a hug, and we dance together.
Aegis Living helps you understand your choices so the right decision feels easier. Visit aegisliving.com and see why so many families say, Aegis Living, this must be the place.
Check out the Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley's new location at 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for your 4th and enjoy great food at Firecracker Alley. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Open now through July 4th.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spell book.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving the first 40 June projects to sign up for 5 or more windows a free patio door plus 12-month free financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The U.S. Supreme Court makes more key rulings today, including allowing states to ban transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sports. Let's Go Washington founder Brian Haywood is celebrating. He's leading the statewide initiative to do just that, telling the Jason Rand Show on Seattle Red.
And we'll be one of the first states now to put this to the vote in a blue state. And I think that's the significance here.
ACLU of Washington calls this decision a heartbreaking ruling for transgender girls throughout the country. A separate decision by the High Court dealt a definitive blow to President Trump's efforts to overturn birthright citizenship.
Chief Justice John Roberts' opinion is a deep dive into the history of American citizenship and the debate over the 14th Amendment. In striking down President Trump's Day One executive order, Roberts reaffirms the Supreme Court's decision in 1898 that all persons born in the U.S., except for the children of ambassadors, are U.S. citizens. 3 of his fellow conservative justices dissented, with Clarence Thomas writing that Roberts' opinion devalues citizenship, and Samuel Alito saying it's a mistake that will seriously affect the country's future.
It's ABC's Stephen Portnoy reporting. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown was among the first to challenge that order in court. He says today's ruling protects thousands of babies born in our state each year. A local soccer legend says she nearly boycotted Seattle's World Cup matches. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay explains.
Amy Griffin was part of 3 Women's World Cup championship teams, 2 as a coach and 1 as a player in 1991. She also coached at UW for 24 years. She tells Gia and Ursula FIFA made it tough to be a fan with steep ticket prices and branding restrictions. But then
I was pretty easily flipped.
She says that's because the city and the world showed up.
There's no way in heck that there's any other event bigger than the World Cup, and it's here in our city. It's in our city.
Griffin says soccer is the one sport that brings people together, even if they're wearing opposing jerseys. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Washington State Cougar fans, you will soon see a new logo on every team uniform. In a first for the Pac-12, Wazoo Athletics is putting a Colville Tribes patch on every Cougar jersey. This is part of a new 5-year partnership with the tribe. It includes youth clinics in tribal communities, basketball development programs, and a new tribal AAU tournaments. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 2:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Thank you, Aaron. Seattle Sports has the update. South 5 into Seattle, we're struggling from Ravenna down to I-90. That's a bumper-to-bumper backup. We cleared our collision near the West Seattle Bridge, though, so it's about 25 minutes to make that drive from Linwood in the downtown. North 5 is crowded at the Michigan Curve in the downtown. We've got got big backups at the First Avenue South Bridge, where we had a recent marine crossing. Bellevue to Renton on 405 is at 25 minutes. It's heavy from Southeast 8th to Cold Creek Parkway. It's a half hour between Seattle and Federal Way, with our usual backup forming between Interurban Avenue and 516. That's where you're going to find a collision on your right shoulder. Both directions of State Route 18 were heavy between I-5 and the Valley Freeway, and southbound on the Valley Freeway heavy from Algona into Sumner. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, we have mostly overcast skies again this afternoon. Highs in the low to mid-60s. Much more of the same. We will be mainly dry, looks like, for Wednesday. Right now, 61 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. I'm very happy to have Charlie Harger from Seattle's Morning News. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Jake, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's fantastic to have you here. We were going to start on retail theft in Washington, which we will get to in just a moment. People are just itching to talk about retail theft. But during the commercial break, you started to tell me about something that's happening at home right now.
Yeah.
And I said, wait, hold on. This would be interesting for the air. So tell me what you were talking about.
I've got a 13-year-old son. Sam is one of those kids who rode one of those e-bikes for the longest time. He loved it. There were a group of friends. Basically, in our neighborhood, there are like two groups of kids that will go out on the e-bikes.
Sharks and the Jets.
And we always kind of kept track of Sam on the Life 360 app. So we were always sure, okay, he's not speeding on this. He's not tearing up a park or anything like this. But things have really kind of changed with e-bikes in terms of how other kids are acting, how they're behaving. And you've seen the stories, right? You heard Sully talk about it earlier this week, where kids basically took over a major roadway. We had a situation. Manda was up in Snohomish County from Seattle's Morning News, and she was talking about seeing almost a dozen kids out in the middle of a major thoroughfare. And in Auburn, it's really kind of become clear that the cops are cracking down. So one of Sam's buddies last week got a $300 ticket on one of these things. And there was a lot more that goes into it than this. But to boil it down, we came to a decision as a family. Sam can't be riding one of these. It's just not safe. We don't want to be associating with... it's getting a bad impression, even though most of these kids are really good kids.
Of course.
So Sam, I think, got it through his head that if he's going to sell, now is the time to sell. So he put his bike up for sale, and an adult came by and bought it yesterday.
Wow.
And so Sam knew the market was falling very quickly. This kid loves, paying attention to how much things are worth. And it's like, okay, Dad, we got to sell it now.
He's going to be a good investor someday.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be working for him.
Yes, he recognizes when the investment is starting to go down the hill. The worm has turned on those e-bikes.
Yes.
So when they first came out, I actually thought they were really cool too. And like when I was a kid, that would have been a dream to have a bike that you don't have to pedal, that goes fast. It's essentially just a motorcycle. Sure. I mean, I actually did ride motorcycles when I was a kid. I saved up for one, but they were always off-road. Right. And they were always ridden like on forest trails or in designated areas. We did never ride them on the roads. Yeah. And that's the problem with these e-bikes, is it gives the kids the impression that they can, because they can get up to really fast speeds really quickly, it gives them the impression that they can be out there on where cars are.
They can't be. And you see some of these kids not wearing helmets.
Oh, my
They're
gosh.
popping wheelies. They're telling Mom and Dad, I'm not popping. Yeah, they're popping wheelies.
They're
having
wheelies.
fun. They're doing exactly what you or I would have done
Sure.
if we were teenagers with that kind of power. One of the things is, I mean, these aren't like being sold through stores. So not even like on Amazon a lot of times. You can just order this from a Chinese importer. And for $1,000, you've got this bike that a kid can ride, and it goes 40 plus miles per hour.
Yeah. Yeah, good for Sam. That's a very responsible choice. That must have been
and he sold it to an adult. So
who's going to give it to a child?
And he said he has some friends around his age. He was in early 20s. They look like they were going to have fun. So,
well, you know what? That would be legal. I mean, if that adult wants to ride the bike and wants to observe the rules of the road, and they are responsible enough to ride it, they wear a helmet.
Absolutely.
Good for them. All right. In Washington State, you got an article right now. People can check it out at mynorthwest.com. Retail theft in Washington State. Yeah. Are these positive numbers that we're getting in? Should people be excited? Is everything getting safer and businesses are getting more support?
Well, we are the top.
Yes.
Yes, but that's the top at retail theft. We have the worst shoplifting in the country. Forbes has come out for a couple of years with these studies saying that Washington State, for a handful of different reasons, ranks consistently the last in the entire U.S. for the amount of shoplifting, organized retail theft. The reason I wrote about it is I was out camping. My wife and I, we have a fifth-wheel trailer, so we were out camping in Shelton, just outside of Shelton on Hood Canal over the weekend, and I made a mistake installing the faucet on the kitchen sink. And so we had a bit of a leak, and those adjustable wrenches, man, they do not work. Yeah. So that's all I had. And I need to buy a real wrench. So I popped into town over to Walmart. It's all behind plexiglass. And so I'm not exaggerating when I said I had to wait 10 minutes, pressing the button over and over again. I see a guy a couple aisles over from me. He's waiting in front of the spray paint. Got underwear behind everything's behind plexiglass.
Insane.
And it's because of the shoplifting. So all of us who are following the law are almost treated like criminals because we can't crack down on the criminals who are actually doing the stealing.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen it myself. I was just at I was at Fred Meyer's just the other day. Is it Fred? No, Fred Meyer. It's not Fred Meyer's.
Oh,
I apologize. Like my dad has always said, all your heart's desires, you can find it at Fred Meyer's, which is probably why I think it's Fred Meyer's. Anyway, I'm there and I'm just buying stuff that we need. I think we were shopping for a birthday present for one of my son's friends. And we go into the kids' toy section. You've seen this for sure because you have young kids as well. All of the Lego sets are not only, here's a crazy thing about this now. When I was a kid, you could just walk around Toys R Us all day. You could try the stuff. You could play with it. You'd always there'll be a line next to the video game tester thing. You could walk down any toy aisle and you could pick up the toy and shake the box and look at it and flip the box over, especially Legos, which everybody loves Lego. And in everywhere you go, Target does the same thing. Fred Meyer does the same thing. I'm sure Walmart probably does the same thing. These Lego sets are not only behind plexiglass, they were also wrapped in like an uncuttable metal band, GPS tracker, and every one of them had a light on. And I sat there and I watched, and it was this weird thing where I kind of had this weird moment where I have the innocence of youth and my kids running around getting excited about toys and wanting to look at one of these sets for one of their friends. And the only way that we were going to get it is I had to wait for one of the understaffed Fred Meyer employees to work their way over here and open up a thing so that we could just even look at it to decide whether or not we wanted to buy it. And then they had to wait there and watch us if we want. And if we wanted it, we had to take it up to the front. Then they had to use a special key and a scanner to unlock the stupid thing. The whole experience just sucks. And it makes you want to just order everything online so you don't have to go in there and, you're right, feel like a criminal.
But we are doing this to ourselves because we refuse to crack down on addiction for people who are shoplifting, those who are in the darkest throes of addiction. I've talked to them time and time again, Jake, and they say one of the things when the family cut them off, when they had no job, when they're at their very lowest, they would go and boost. They would steal. They would sell everything they stole for just pennies on the dollar. These are people who tell me they were spending or stealing $300 to $1,000 worth of merchandise every day from retail stores in order to get $150 in order to feed their habit. And we're not intercepting people when we could be most effective of saying to them, we want you to get treatment. We're going to help you get treatment, but you being allowed to steal is not going to be an option either more. anymore. So that is something we've got to get our heads around as a society, is how do we get people into treatment, guide them that way, and not allow the rest of us to be treated like criminals.
Yeah, you're 100% right. The other thing that they should invest in is retail theft prevention. Like, didn't the governor cut out of his budget?
There was $500,000 pilot project that was actually approved by the state legislature to continue. It was in the budget, but one of the line item vetoes from the governor, that one $500,000 expense to continue this project, which had diversion programs, which had a way of cracking down, getting people diverted into help, that got cut from the latest state budget.
And we are seeing billions and billions of dollars a year, just like you said.
Yeah.
Drug addicts who have no choice because they're drug addicts.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have a choice, but drug addicts walking out with billions and billions of dollars of merchandise of these business shops, these business owners who just, they have no repercussion.
And of course, it's not all drug addicts. We're not saying that, but people have the deepest, darkest despairs. This is what's happening to their lives, and we're allowing it to continue.
You can check the article out at mynorthwest.com. Charlie Harger, appreciate you coming in.
Anytime.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. We got your text messages next. Stick around.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear G and Ursula, weekdays 9 to noon.
What if your boss knew exactly how desperate you were for money and used that information to decide how little they were going to pay you?
To have an algorithm to pay people as low as possible? How low can we go? This has always been a thing for companies.
Because that is essentially a warning on what's called algorithmic wage discrimination.
Watch live or later on the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Always exhausted, loud snoring, keeping your partner awake? You could have sleep apnea and not even know it. South Seattle Smiles has a comfortable solution with no CPAP required. Most medical insurance accepted. Call 206-241-5533 today. SouthSeattleSmiles.com.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than a tear out. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
What if the retirement plan you think you have isn't enough? Marshall and Ellen thought they were prepared.
We certainly thought we had all documents. We'd done the wills and the power of attorney and all that stuff.
Then they attended a seminar with elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayich at Life Point Law.
The bigger parts of how that all plays out was definitely helpful.
Life Point Law showed them what they were missing.
There were things we never thought of that made total sense once they were brought up. to have things planned so that your family isn't left with a mess or having to deal with things that they don't know anything about.
So what's their advice?
People wait too long. Get started, figure out what you want to do. Don't wait too long. Make those decisions and look at all your options.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way on July 7th, Bremerton July 9th, Everett July 11th, or Bellevue July 18th. Space is limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. lifepointlaw.com.
Get ready to rock. It's Hoobastank, delivering their high-energy sounds at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Friday, July 31st at 8 p.m. Along with Eve 6. It's two incredible bands on one unforgettable night. Hoobastank and Eve 6 at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on July 31st. Get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Staples Easy Deal Days are here. Score up to 50% off more than 1,000 products in-store and online. It all ends July 4th. Staples. That was easy.
Hey there, Dawn Riling from Olympic Hot Tub with exciting news. Our mid-year clearance event is on. You'll score big savings on all in-stock saltwater hot tubs and fabulous saunas. Plus, deep discounts on newly released floor model swim spas. These deals are incredible. But don't wait. Our mid-year clearance ends June 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
All right, welcome back to the show. We got a lot of text messages. Laura, why don't you fire away?
On 4th of July fireworks and where to buy them. 253 says, normally our cul-de-sac kind of bunches together and makes a big group purchase for fireworks. But now our HOA has decided that fireworks should be outlawed, so I'm a little bummed.
You know, HOAs are just the worst. They hate fun. They always go south. I've never heard of one HOA that people go, oh, I love my HOA. It's always oppressive. It's always like a little communist dictatorship. Good luck, 253. I hope you guys can
fight the power.
Just do it. Just light fireworks. What are they going to do? Honestly, what's HOA going to do? Nothing. Light your fireworks. Have fun.
Bobby in Tacoma says, I get mine at Firecracker Alley in Tacoma. My cousin Donnie has a stand. Donnie's Boom Boom Room. He has some good deals.
I've never been to Fireworker Alley. We should call Donnie at Donnie's Boom Boom Room. I would like to know what you do with all the fireworks after the season ends. I assume they just go in a crate somewhere and you save them for next year.
They must store, right? It's not a perishable good.
Yeah, just keep them dry, I would imagine. Let's reach out. I'm going to reach out to Donnie from Donnie's Boom Boom Room. 206 says, Jake, I own a fireworks stand. Mark and Janelle. Awesome. Thank you guys for listening to the show.
BNP Alp says there are massive tents selling fireworks on every street corner and shopping center parking lot out there.
There are a ton. Every time we drive by one, my kids want to stop, but we're going to wait until the end of the week. On my son having his first job and wanting a Lego set, Doug in Mount Vernon says, first job, hey son, it's been a decade. It's time to start pulling your weight. Yeah, he is 11. He's kind of young, but I'm excited he wants to work.
And Bill in Lake Stevens says, don't talk him out of the Lego Millennium Falcon. That's a cool purchase. It's a badass toy. His friends will be envious.
It is true. And James in Edgewood kind of has arrived where I think I'm going to arrive. He says, let him get the set. He's earned the money. I want him to have a really positive association with earning money for things that he wants.
Money, reward.
Yes, yeah. 100%. And it's really great and it's fun to see. Right now, the amounts of money they earn are very small. And so a lot of times they just waste it on frivolous, stupid things. Like they love buying candy. Anytime we let them buy anything, it's always like, hey, let's go buy Fun Dips are still a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
I love Fun Dips.
I loved Fun Dips back in the day.
Well, you'll be happy to know they're still popular.
But that's a good lesson, to save up for something you really want and not blow it all on little things along the way.
Yeah. Delayed gratification. My dad taught me this. Both my parents did when I was young. Save up for something big, and then it just teaches you that, like, down the road, you can do big things. And so, yeah, I'm trying to do this with my own kids. We'll see how it works out. On the sales tax, he's going to have to pay for that toy. Ed in Bremerton says any tax is a total ripoff. Ed, I tend to agree with you. Thank you.
On funding the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, 253 says their concept of accountability is all wrong. They think tracking is accountability. They should actually put guidelines in place before money is spent.
That's a great point. I mean, they're trying to, it's like they're trying to construct the ship while they're already, however the analogy would play out, while they're already sailing. They don't seem to have much of a plan. They're obviously, they don't feel any pressure either to be accountable with the money. That's a ton of money. If they're giving like per year, it's like $200 million that they're spending per year, $1 billion in the last 5 years, and homelessness has increased. That's a profound embarrassment, and I don't think they should keep going.
On the illegal crab stuffed down the pants of shellfish harvesters, Chris in Marysville says it's called crabbing and not crab fishing. That type of language just makes my skin crawl, with laughing emojis.
It is called crabbing. You're totally right, Chris. What did I call it? Crab fishing?
I think crab fishing. We'll have to run the
right.
tape.
I think it's just called crabbing. It's not called crab fishing. Chris, you were right. I was wrong. I apologize. On Mayor Katie Wilson and Mamdani's far-left endorsements, Fernando in Seattle says neither mayor is a Democrat. They both call themselves socialists. He's right. Why are you surprised when they don't endorse Democrats? The Democrats need to prevent outside parties from hijacking their platform and spots on the ballot. Fernando, great point. It is very interesting. We do, we're watching like an experiment happen right before our eyes with Katie Wilson and how this is all going to play out when you have these establishment local politicians who are basically being shown the door because they don't align with Katie Wilson and her group. So we'll see how that works out. But thank you for the text messages. Thank you all for the text messages today. Tons of fun. John Curley's coming up next. We will be back here tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, afternoons 2 to 7.
You have a whole bunch of people getting on, not paying. Imagine this on a bus. You get on the bus, you got your little stupid card that you paid for, and you swipe it, and then the seat folds down and you can sit down. There's no standing. So if you get on and you don't have a little card, whoop, there's no place for you to sit. Whoosh, out the back.
The John Curley Show. Subscribe to KIRO News Radio on YouTube and watch live or later.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Ah. Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is